Welcome to the Sound Live Sports Network, presented by Shoreline Community College. It is the Mountlake Terrace Hawks coming in to face the Edmonds Woodway Warriors on the Sound Live Sports Network. A game that matters this season because both of these teams in a log jam in the middle of the standings in the Wesco 3A South Division. The Edmonds Woodway Warriors falling in a heartbreaker a week ago to the Meadowdale Mavericks in overtime, and they fall to 1-2 after falling to the Kamiak Knights the week before. The Mountlake Terrace Hawks, Steve, you well know, you called that ball game. They're in a bit of a groove right now, 2-1 on the season. Both teams really want the win tonight.
Both teams really need this win tonight. As you mentioned, this game, more than it has the last few years, it matters now. Edmonds Woodway coming back from the 4A ranks to 3A. This game always means something if you are a Warrior or a Hawk, because there's always that sense of pride on the line, but now it counts in the standings, and with these two teams running neck and neck right now, one of them is going to have a much better chance to get a leg up on the other.
And we will get started here with the kickoff in just a moment on the Sound Live Sports Network.
All right, Keith, and we are ready to go here. The Edmonds Woodway Warriors wearing the home green uniforms tonight. The Mountlake Terrace Hawks wearing the road white. Two teams that share a stadium. They play here plenty, and now they're playing one another. And we'll do like our tradition has been the last couple years. I will handle play-by-play for my Mountlake Terrace Hawks. You will have the Warriors, and we are underway. Riley Morin initially touching that ball on the 1 yard line. It falls into the end zone, which by high school rules, it means the play is automatically dead. And the Hawks will start out their first possession on the 20-yard line.
Important to get out first, get out fast, and get established, especially while it's still dry out. Right now the rain has recessed just a little bit after the early ball game between the Linwood Royals and the Interlake Saints.
Yeah, and the field is very slick. It's very wet from earlier. A lot of rain tonight so far, and this field does not drain that quickly. And Ryan Lacoste fooled me for a moment. I thought he was sweeping around the right. However, it was the big fella, number 9, Malcolm Johnson, looking for room up the middle and finding 0, and that's exactly how many yards he ended up with on that play.
Michael Swires in on the tackle after a little fly sweep. Kind of interrupted the pace just a little bit, but Edmonds Woodway steadfast in their defense.
Well, a fake fly sweep. I thought Lacoste had taken the ball around the corner. He had not. It was given to the 220-pound barrel, if you will, of a running back. That's Malcolm Johnson. Malcolm with 214 yards last week, and now we're going to get a little sweep around the right. That's Ryan Lacoste. Lacoste finding some room off of the right tackle over there. Lunges forward for 5 yards. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 5.
Nick Venema on the tackle. And Edmonds Woodway pretty steady through the middle. The only times they really have had trouble have been around the edges. So we'll see what the speed of the Terrace Hawks means when some fatigue may set in later in the ball game around the corners.
Yeah, an Edmonds Woodway team that has not given up more than 28 points in a game this year yet. Very stout defense. See what they can do on 3rd and 5. Hopkins is going to throw for the first time. Completes it to Daniel Johnson. Johnson getting 6 yards and a first down. The sophomore, and I should mention the brother of Malcolm Johnson, who we saw carry the ball 2 plays earlier. We're going to see a lot of Johnson and Johnson tonight.
Daniel Johnson, an excellent job of just being aware of his field position, knowing he had to get to the 32-yard line in order to keep the drive alive. That's exactly where he caught the football, first down.
Yeah, so the Hawks with their first down of the game. 10:27 showing in the first quarter. No score. We're early on here. Hawks with the first possession of the game. And we go from Daniel Johnson to Malcolm Johnson. The older brother carrying the ball this time. Gets forward for a gain of 3. That will bring up a 2nd and 7.
So far, just making sure you have positive yardage, and two teams that have faced off pretty much every year for as long as I can remember.
There was a 2-year window about 5 years ago where they did not play, but you're right. And to talk to the parents, they play in the same leagues growing up. They've a lot of these kids have known each other since they were 4, 5, 6 years old, and they're not strangers to one another. They know the strengths, the weaknesses, and we'll see how that plays out tonight. 2nd and 7, And I think that's going to go against the Warriors.
Hard count. Not a bad time to get one. 5 yards on the penalty. The man jumping off sides, I believe, was Tanner Caraco.
Caraco's 6 foot 230. He's a big fella in there, and just trying to get a little jump on things. A little bit too early, and yeah, give credit to the Hawks and maybe
Swires
was that Swires out there? Give credit to Hopkins for the hard count. Drawing the Warriors offside. It's now 2nd and 2 on the 40 for the Hawks. Hopkins under center takes the snap. Right up the middle is Johnson. He's still going and is finally brought down at the 47-yard line. Malcolm looking good early on here. Lunges his way forward for another Mountlake Terrace Hawks first down.
So far, a steady diet of run game. The only thing you had to have was the catch for about 8 yards to keep the chains moving from Daniel Johnson earlier in this drive. But shoot, if it's working and you're able to pound into that line and get positive yards, wear them down. Keep it at it. Keep at it.
And this is a Hawks team that does not like to throw a lot. They threw 3 times the first game of the season. They had only completed 1 pass through their first 6 quarters of offense for the entire year, halfway through their Meadowdale game 2 weeks ago. And sure enough, they're going to go right back to that running game, and that's exactly what they do. As Johnson finds a little room off of the right side, gets forward to the 49-yard line of Meadowdale, or Edmonds Woodway. What am I thinking there? Talking about that game 2 weeks ago. So far, this game's going better for the Hawks. Hawks into Warrior territory for the first time.
Meadowdale dominating Glacier Peak right now, and I think that game goes into the second half the way it finishes the first. Meadowdale's in the driver's seat, and the West goes south.
Yeah, 3 games left in the south at that point. Linwood, Shorewood, Shorecrest. And here comes Malcolm Johnson. No, it's Lacoste, and Lacoste has room to the 30. Finally steps out of bounds at about the 29-yard line. And one of the referees on the near side here is spotting him at the 26. No, they bring it back to the 29 finally. A gain of 20 yards for Ryan Lacoste.
Keep going to what works. You've only seen 1 pass play in the ball game, and you can't stop the run right now if you're Edmonds Woodway.
And I should have finished that off by saying last week, Mountlake Terrace threw 5 passes in the first half, all completions. Second half against Shorewood, not 1 single pass attempt. This is their bread and butter right here. In motion, here comes Riley Morin. Morin had a touchdown last week, looking for some room and is not going to find much of anything. He lost a yard on that play.
And that was Isaac Jackson, the cornerback on the right-hand side, had to fight off the wide receiver in order to get to the ball carrier. Great job of timing by Isaac Jackson.
Jackson, who both of his parents are Mountlake Terrace alums. I went to school with them. I might have to talk to his folks later on and tell him to go a little easy on the alma mater, if you will. So here we go.
Isaac, the backup quarterback on offense.
That's true. Here we go, 2nd and 12 right now on the 31-yard line. 7:40 to go here in the first quarter. Lacoste taking it off the right-hand side, cuts it back into the middle, jumps over 1 would-be tackler, and is finally brought down at the 26-yard line, a gain of 5. That will bring up a 3rd and 7 for Mountlake Terrace.
Edmonds Woodway learning a little bit on the previous 3 or 4 plays. That time stacked an extra linebacker in the box. And normally just a 3-4 defense. That time looked like they brought an extra body in to help on the run.
Well, here we go. The second time tonight we've seen a 3rd and somewhat long yardage for the Hawks. Last time they converted on a pass to Daniel Johnson. Johnson's not in there this time as Brady's lined up out to the left, and Brady's cutting across the middle. They go to Austin Bates, who makes the catch. The tight end finds a seam over on the right-hand side, gets down to the 14-yard line, a gain of 13 yards, and another Mountlake Terrace Hawks first down.
Only 1 wide receiver shown out of the formation, and he got the matchup you wanted across the middle in single coverage. And able to get open, made the catch. Right now, a nice, long, sustained drive for the Hawks.
Yeah, over 5 minutes are off the clock right now. The Hawks with the first possession of the ball game, marching down the field rather nicely. Johnson looking for some space, tries to take it to the right-hand side and does not find much room. Might have picked up a yard on the play. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 9. And I'll tell you what, Keith, if you're Mountlake Terrace, you've got to like this from a confidence standpoint. This game last year, Edmonds Woodway beat Mountlake Terrace 35-0. And it sounds strange, but the game wasn't even really that close. Mountlake Terrace could get nothing going on offense. And here they come out of the gate. They're already 67 yards down the field and knocking on the door.
9th play of the drive. Really only had one hiccup on a long 3rd down and 8. That was quickly erased by the Daniel Johnson catch. Another 3rd down possession right there.
And here we go. Lacoste finding room around the right-hand side. Lacoste very close to that chain. I guess they're going to actually mark him down a little bit short as they're on the far side of the field. Thought for a moment there I saw him diving forward, but it was one of his blockers and not him. He's going to be brought down around the 7-yard line. It's going to leave him just a few yards short of a 1st down, and another big 3rd down coming up for the Hawks.
3rd down and a short porch. Right now, Edmonds Woodway can afford to bring a lot more forward. And they're going to have to do it against the running game. You've been beat twice by short passes, but I think you got to erase the run first.
Yeah, Brady and Johnson lined up to the left. Here comes Hopkins. He's rolling out that way. Throws it to Lacoste, who just can't quite hold on to it. Had that ball bounce off his hands at around the 2-yard line, it would have been a 1st down and possibly a touchdown. Instead, it's incomplete, and that is going to bring up a 4th and 3. And if you're the Hawks, you've got to make a decision now.
Well, do you take points early on in the ball game? I think generally that's the idea. You kick the field goal and take the points, the guarantee, but you know better than I as far as what the Hawks kicking game is like.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of a challenge right now in that the Hawks' main kicker is Mikey Jensen. Jensen having some hamstring issues over the last couple of weeks. They've had to go to a backup kicker, and consequently they're going for it. Here we go, 4th and 3. Handoff right up the middle to Malcolm Johnson. Johnson pushes.
Picked up the 1st down. I don't know that he got the touchdown.
He did not. They're going to spot him down right around the 2-yard line. Give Tony Umayam and Mike Yalowicki, the head coach and offensive coordinator, some credit. Called the right play there, and they've got 1st and goal.
1st and goal. And a huge boost to the confidence of the Hawks right now. If you're able to go 80 yards in and get a touchdown on your first drive, it sure takes some pressure off your defense in the first time that they have to get on the field.
Well, especially since the first time they're going to take the field, there's going to be roughly 4 minutes to go in the quarter. Clock right now showing 4:38. This is already a 7-minute and 30-second drive. Lacoste gets the handoff. Lacoste lunges. Let's see where they spot him. Just a bit short of that goal line. Looked as though he might have lost his footing a little bit there, and he'd been able to stay upright. He might be in the end zone.
A lot of clock being taken off right here. Edmonds Woodway has not touched the ball yet, and there's only 4 minutes remaining in the 1st quarter.
Yeah, and this is just what the doctor ordered for Mountlake Terrace. Again, they had 7 touchdowns last week, but against a much lesser opponent in Shorewood. To get this confidence going early on in this game, this is going to go a long ways over the final 3.5 quarters. And here comes Malcolm Johnson into the end zone. Touchdown, Terrace. Malcolm Johnson from 1 yard out. 8 minutes and 8 seconds into this game, the Hawks strike first. Mountlake Terrace 6, Edmonds Woodway 0.
8:08 off the clock. Only, 3 pass plays, 1 incompletion, everything else ground up. Inside, outside, didn't matter. The running game, full tilt for Terrace.
And Drew Clippard on for the long snap now. He's going to hike it to Tanner Munnis. Munnis puts it down. No, we're going to get a whistle. And as I mentioned earlier, a backup kicker right now, Ivan Melkor. Melkor is a senior. Did a nice job in relief of Mikey Jensen last week. 7 touchdowns, 7 PATs. See if he can get his 8th one here. You can't get any better than that. Well, you might if you're Matty Schultz. I don't know. I mean, you might find a way to score 8 or 9 PATs, but that's another story.
We'll get to that at halftime.
We will talk about her later on. Ivan Melkor awaits the snap, gets the kick up, and punches the kick through. Hawks 7, Edmonds Woodway Warriors 0. We're going to take a quick break. You are watching the Sound Live Sports Network.
Are you a whiz in filmmaking? Do you want to become extraordinary in filmmaking? Then come to Shoreline Community College and work with Shoreline Productions, where you will learn to transform your work in teams of working professionals and students to create enchanting effects such as green screen, text animation, and so much more. So come to Shoreline Community College, where you can mystify and dazzle in filmmaking.
Welcome back on the Sound Live Sports Network. The Mountlake Terrace Hawks, 8:08 off the clock in their first possession before Edmonds Woodway has a chance to touch the football, and already 7-0. Hawks on top early on. 80-yard drive, and it was a beauty.
It was a beauty, and a little bit of everything in there. You had 36 yards from Lacoste, 21 from Johnson, so you've got a nice even balance, and you even had a couple of nice pass plays.
Kick is off, and it will go into the end zone. 20-yard line is where Edmonds Woodway will start their first possession.
So, Keith, I have to tease you a little bit here. We've last year we decided we were going to let you do the play-by-play for Edmonds Woodway when they were on offense, and me for Mountlake Terrace. And the game was dominated by the Warriors. I think I just did more play-by-play in that drive than I did the entire game last year, and that might not be a joke.
That may be the truth.
It was pretty darn close.
And if you get 8 minutes out of every quarter from your starting offense, mistake-free offense at that. Not a penalty flag, not a turnover in that first drive. Picture perfect high school football. 3:52 remaining first quarter. Keith Neely and Steve Willits with you on the Sound Live Sports Network. And behind center, the handoff rolling out is Morales. Has a man downfield, caught. It's Nick Venema. Out of the backfield, picks up the first down on a nice little bootleg out to the left.
I went down and talked to the head coach of Mountlake Terrace, Tony Umine, before the game, asked him what his thoughts were on this game, and he, again, knows that Edmonds Woodway team very well. He says that one of the things about this Edmonds Woodway Warrior team, as opposed to years past, much more balanced. They've got a little more of a passing game right now. He was concerned about it, and right out of the gate, 16-yard gain.
Nick Morales, 6'2", 190 pounds. He's a senior. Can go out of the shotgun, also under center. Now he'll spin, hand the ball straight away. And that's Chance Justice, the starting tailback. Also a senior, 5'9", 175 pounds. And Chance Justice doing most of the work, although you will also see Nick Venema in the backfield.
And nice play by, we mentioned him earlier, Mikey Jensen, number 5. Too hurt to kick, but not too hurt to make tackles there as the linebacker busted through there, and along with Austin Bates, number 15, had a nice stop there for the Hawks.
After a 2-yard pickup, 2nd down and 8 on the 39-yard line. Morales now will go into center. 2 in the backfield. That is Reinford and Justice. Rolling out to his right is Morales. He looks downfield, has nobody there, will run forward for a 5-yard pickup. Great defense on the play as Justice got deep into the safeties for Terrace, but Josh Hopkins locked him up, and Morales had to tuck and go.
And give Morales a lot of credit, and we're seeing this a lot more and more, not only in the game of football, and some of these kids are watching the Russell Wilsons and the Colin Kaepernicks. Rather than just throw it away, roll out 4 or 5 yards, step out of bounds, and make it a positive play.
Morales can run, not the most mobile of quarterbacks, mostly known for passing. Nice tall quarterback. Now we'll pitch it out. This time Justice has to go a long ways to get some north-south running. We'll pick up the first down, but is punished for it.
Punished by the sophomore, Daniel Johnson. We saw him catch a pass on the offensive side of things. This time he puts the lick on Justice. However, Justice does pick up the first down and moves the chains.
A similar drive starting off very much the same way as this Mountlake Terrace drive a possession ago that went 80 yards and also started on the 20-yard line. Terrace had to pick up 2 very big 3rd downs and actually got the 4th down conversion in order to keep that drive alive. Edmonds Woodway now only 1 3rd down conversion. They are 1 for 1, and now an offsides on a hard count.
You mentioned it a second ago that these drives look very similar. We saw deja vu right there as about the 3rd or 4th play of the game for Mountlake Terrace. It did a hard count, got Edmonds Woodway to jump off sides. Edmonds Woodway returning the favor there right now on the Hawks.
And it really does come down to discipline and turnovers. It seems like comes rears its ugly head time and time again.
And if I recall correctly, that last offsides, that last encroachment, also put the Hawks onto the other side of the field for the first time, a la what just happened here.
And now Morales will spin back. He's got a bootleg. Picks up a big block. Now will fire down. Caught. I believe that's by Gradwall at the 35-yard line. It is Josh Gradwall. The senior receiver, 5'8", has to come back about 5 yards and land on his hip in order to make the catch. A bit low, but another completion for a first down.
And I like to see that out of young receivers. You don't see that enough at this level. They tend to run their routes and then just stop. Gradwell ran his deep route, recognized that Morales needed help, came back to him, got himself open.
Into a bit of a quicker offense now. Morales has Venema behind him, now drops back to pass, swing out to Gradwell once again, breaks one tackle, breaks two, into the pile three, pushes the pile forward for another first down. And the Warriors, I think he'll be short. I'll be second down and maybe half a yard by the time they put the spot down. But another great reception, concentrating right into the kitchen. Caught the football and forward for an extra 2.
Yeah, and this kid's probably got a little football in his blood anyway, right? This is the nephew of the head coach.
Correct. John Gradwell, the head coach for Edmonds Woodway, I believe his 14th season at the helm of the Warriors.
I had a chance to interview him earlier this year. It's actually his 19th
Is it
season.
19?
And time
so
flies.
I was asleep for about 4 years. And now a first down crossing the 25-yard line.
I was teasing John at the time because he started here in the fall of 1996. All of his players now were born after he started coaching here.
Wow.
It's you know you've been somewhere for a while when you look at the kids and go, you were not even born when I
that's
coached my
math
first
you
game.
don't even want to do.
Yeah, we're starting to learn that as we get up there as well, right?
You're not a kidding. 30 seconds to go now in the first quarter. Edmonds Woodway, first down and 10 on the 23. Venema behind center. They'll hand the ball off to Justice, who is right behind him. And now down to the 16-yard line. Morales has both tailbacks now behind him, both Venema and Justice in the backfield. They will also, at times, mix in Tyler Reinford, who is a junior, and that will do it for the first quarter of play. So Mountlake Terrace is able to get on the board after an 80-yard drive. Edmonds Woodway is a large way to doing the exact same thing, but we are at the end of quarter number 1. Hawks on top, 7-0. We'll take a timeout on the Sound Live Sports Network.
People assume quality car insurance has to cost more. People assume too much. The truth is, drivers who switched to Allstate last year saved money and got better protection. So get the facts, because you know what they say about people who assume. They pay more for car insurance than you and me.
The Allstate Insurance Agency of Jeff Smar is a proud sponsor of Wesco Athletics. Located in Northwest Bothell, Jeff's office services many areas including Linwood, Edmonds, Bothell, and Mill Creek. Contact Jeff for a quote at 425-949-7103 or email jeffsmar@allstate.com.
We'll get set to start the second quarter of play here on the Sound Live Sports Network, presented by Shoreline Community College. Edmonds Woodway threatening now at the 17-yard line with a second down and 4 yards to go. In the backfield, believe it or not, Josh Gradwell and Chance Justice. Actually, it is Venema rolling out now as Morales has to get past somebody, and now will fire the ball toward the receiver. Could be in the grasp. He has had a couple of mental mistakes that cost him in the game a week ago against Meadowdale, where he had 2 intentional grounding penalties that were, one was a little iffy. We'll credit Morales for at least finding a receiver downfield. The other one not questionable.
That one was very questionable. The ball never got back to the line of scrimmage, so I'm surprised the referee who was standing right there, the second ref on the sideline, the ball landed near his feet, so I thought the call was going to come. Morales might have gotten away with one there. We'll see what happens on third and 4.
Third down and 4 yards to go. Edmonds Woodway perfect on third down, only 1 of 1. The only attempt now with a handoff to Justice, gets through the pile, should have the first down. And he gets an extra 2 still on his feet. Now forward momentum will stop the play. But a first down, the chains will move. Edmonds Woodway, 1st and 10 at the 10.5-yard line. I think EW will have an opportunity, should they get near the goal line, to get another first down.
Be curious to see what Edmonds Woodway does here. I should have mentioned on that last play too, Miles Allen was the one that had Morales in the grasp, a kid who had a game 2 weeks ago against Mariner in which Tony Umaim, who's an 11th-year head coach here, said was the best game he'd ever seen one of the Hawks play at nose tackle.
Tyler Reinford in for Justice in tailback now behind Venema. And now Morales will hand the ball off. It is Reinford. He heads over the left side, still on his feet. Takes one crunch down to the 5-yard line, make it 6-yard line. And a little different look as Tyler Reinford, 6'1", 185-pound junior, a little bigger boy, a little more beef coming through the line.
Yeah, I didn't look at the stats, but I had a chance to watch the Edmonds Woodway Meadowdale game last week. I was really impressed with Reinford when he carried the ball. I mean, if that's your number 3 weapon at running back, you're doing okay.
Gradwall to the far side. To the near side is Jalen Nash, who is an expert receiver. We saw him in the Meadowdale game. And now 2nd down and 7, rolling out. And hand off to Justice. Justice gets down near the 1st down marker. I think he's going to be short by 2 yards. It should bring up 3rd down and 2.
Yeah, nice job by the Hawks to keep him out of the end zone. Nice job by Justice to find some space over there. Puts his team much closer to tying this game up. 3rd and short coming up.
And you probably are also in 3-down territory now. There's the handoff. Justice gets into the pile. I don't think he got it. I think we're going to be short. And John Gradwall is signaling right now without hesitation that he wants his team to go for it on 4th.
Not only are they going to go for it, they're going no huddle. They want to catch the Hawks asleep and catch them off guard a little bit and see what they can do.
Gradwall to the near side. Nash to the far side. Backfield is Justice and Venema. Morales now spins, hands off to Justice. Got stopped behind the line of scrimmage. It's going to be close. Did he get there? I think he's going to be short, Steve.
Yeah, keep in mind that, and they do finally signal. I was going to say it wasn't a 4th and goal. It was a 4th and 1, and you're right, they are short. The Hawks coming up big and on the stop there. What was it, a 3rd and 2 just 2 plays ago, and 2 straight stops for the Hawks.
It was that initial contact that really helped you out and slowed Chance Justice down and kept him off the ball. 9:39 to go, 2nd quarter. We are in the 2nd quarter. After Mountlake Terrace goes 80 yards, Edmonds Woodway turns around and goes 78, but comes up just short.
Yeah, if you're going to come up too short, it's the final 2 that you really need, and that's exactly what happened. Hawks now up against their own goal line. Here we go, 9:39 to go, and Hopkins fumbles the snap and wisely lunges his way forward as he was very close to the goal line at the time. Boy, talk about almost a drastic change of events there as the Hawks coming up big on that stop, and they almost gave Edmonds Woodway the ball back there. Fortunately, if you are a Mountlake Terrace fan, you're breathing a little bit of a sigh of relief as the Hawks, although they're looking at a 2nd and 10 now, at least they didn't give the ball over, or maybe even worse, fall back into that end zone and give Edmonds Woodway an easy 2 points.
9:04 to go. If the history of the last 2 drives, we've only had 2 drives in the ball game.
Exactly.
Here comes a quarter and a half.
Here comes Lacoste looking for some room. He better get out of that end zone, and just barely does. Trying to find room around that right corner. Ran about 20 yards right down the goal line there, side to side, and finally got out of the end zone and gets back to the line of scrimmage.
Brendan Davis, the normal kicker and punter, out there on the cornerback role, or outside linebacker. I'm not entirely sure where he set up. I believe he plays cornerback at times. Was the man that stayed home and helped out the Z-Dub defense.
So here we go, a 3rd and 10 from the 2. Hawks taking their own sweet time here. Brought a couple of players in just now, changing up their alignment a little bit. Gabe Brady lined up out to the far left. I believe that is Daniel Johnson lined up just inside of him. Hawks taking the snap. They're looking to throw. Hopkins rolling out. Just gets out of the end zone. Finally takes off running. Manages to pick up 6 yards. However, on 3rd and 10, it's not going to be enough. However, he does give his punt team a little bit more room to punt. You were going to be standing right back on your own goal line a moment ago. So possibly a positive play, if you will, for Mountlake Terrace. The bad part is that they have to punt within their own 10-yard line.
Spencer Schultz on the tackle for Edmonds Woodway, having to go out of the pile, and then after he was able to get released, run the distance in order to haul down Hopkins.
Austin Bates into punt for the first time tonight. Gets off a beautiful kick. High spiral. Bounces at the 44-yard line and immediately goes out of bounds. 36-yard kick. No return. They're actually going to spot it now on the, I believe, on the 46-yard line. So we'll give him a 38-yard punt. And Edmonds Woodway's offensive team will come onto the field for the second time tonight. However, much better field position than where they started from their first time.
Edmonds Woodway being very efficient, but couldn't finish in their first drive of the ball game. Ate up 7 minutes and 30 seconds of clock time themselves after Terrace ate up 8 minutes and 8 seconds. So Morales has Reinford behind him, and in front of that is Nick Venema. Two wideouts on the near side, Gradwall and Nash. Now the bootleg into trouble, escapes some pressure. Now will step out of bounds after a 3-yard pickup.
Boy, number 54, Eli Wilson, read that one beautifully. He just couldn't quite come up with Morales, who was able to escape. Looked for a moment there like that might be a loss of yardage play, but it in fact becomes a 3-yard gain. And hey, should also point out, a lot of folks will question why a coach like Gradwell will go for it and not take the easy points early in a game. That's exactly why you go for it, because you know that if your defense can come out and get a big stop, you're going to pin the other team way back, and you end up with great field possession second time around.
7:12 to go, second quarter. Second down and 7 for Morales and the Warriors at the 44. There's the play action fake now, screen underneath. They hit Venema, and
ball is loose.
Ball is loose. And now a scrum to see who will end up with the pigskin. It would have been a pickup of 5. They say Edmonds Woodway keeps the football.
Yeah, Mikey Jensen, we called his name earlier. Jensen hitting, I guess was that Chance on the play? Justice from behind, causing the fumble. And initially it looked like he might have a chance to recover it. The ball just kind of slipped out of his grasp, but I think Justice might have recovered his own ball.
I think that was Venema.
Was that
on
Venema?
the catch.
Okay, yeah.
And it will be a pickup of 5 yards on the catch. This brings up the 4th play of the drive. Actually, 3rd play of the drive. 3rd down and 2, ball on the 38-yard line as Morales turns around and gives instructions as Justice gets the handoff, gets into the pile, picks up the first down past the 35-yard line to the 34. And the drive continues for Edmonds Woodway. 6:14 to go now as the chains move.
Nothing fancy there. You have 3rd and short. Have your blockers give you some space. Dive forward for 5 yards. First down, and you move the chains.
The clock continues to roll here as a mostly ground game for both of these teams. This game could be over in an hour, Steve.
Gradwall and Umayam, they might have 10 p.m. dinner reservations tonight. They're getting this game over quickly.
They sure are. Morales now takes his time, goes under center against only 2 down linemen for the Hawks, putting a lot of people into the secondary that time. A little bit of an odd defensive formation, but even on the run, only a 2-yard gain, maybe a yard. It's a long yard, yard and a half.
A nice stop by the Hawks there as Justice looked to have some space there initially and got spun down to the ground pretty hard and only picked up a couple yards on the play. 2nd
down and 8 yards to go. Now they go to the 3-4. On defense, 2 on the far side, 2 in the backfield. Back to pass. It'll swing out now. Had a lot of space. Caught by Gradwall. He'll pick up 7 yards and get near the first down marker. A lot of cushion by the secondary on that far side.
A lot of cushion, but give Morales some credit. He rolled out, created a little bit of space like you mentioned. Had a couple different wide receivers down there. Might have even looked off in one direction. It looked for just a quick second as though the Hawks defenders were frozen. And at that point, that's when he threw to Gradwall. And nice execution by both quarterback and receiver.
6th play of the drive, 3rd down and 2 on the 27. Edmonds Woodway with the ball now, handoff. Justice straight ahead, picks up the first down, gets another good block, and the extra surge puts him inside the red zone of the Mountlake Terrace Hawks for the 2nd time tonight.
Yeah, here we go, red zone offense one more time. This is kind of where the Hawks were able to bend but don't break last time around, but so far, Edmonds Woodway winning it in the trenches when they're on offense, certainly getting that space and just grounding the ball down the field.
Nash, the receiver on the near side, Radwall on the far side. Venema and Justice in the backfield. Now that is handoff to Justice. Got tripped up right about the line of scrimmage. It was actually Tyler Reinford as the fullback in front of Justice. Went the other way on the counter.
Eli Wilson doing a nice job of wrapping up Justice around the legs. Justice doing a nice job of picking up a couple yards at the end of that play. Looked like he was stood up initially for a no-gainer. Still found a way to get forward and make it a positive play.
3:44 to go, second quarter. Second down and 9 now after they give Justice a yard. On the scramble off the left side. Morales now, and flags abound. And it looked to me for a second that Logan Lambert perhaps jumped on offense. We'll see what the referee says.
Yeah, a lot of movement on both sides on that one. Morales certainly looked like he was a little disgusted, like maybe it was on the offense. And no, it's on the defense.
Offside.
Yeah. Three or four guys on both teams jumped on that one. It was just a matter of who jumped first. And I was with you. I thought Mountlake Terrace did, in fact, jump. I was just surprised to see Morales kind of throw his arms down like, how did we do that? And no, Nick, you got some yards. It's a good thing.
Our referee tonight, Nick Martin, wearing the white hat. Our umpires, Larry Lisk, line judge, Greg Olmstad, and Kevin Corbett. Doing a fine job in the doubleheader tonight. 3:14 to go here in the quarter, and now we've got that motion, and it was the quarterback himself.
Now Morales can throw the arms down. That was him pulling back and nobody else moving. So they get 5 yards, and then they give them right back.
These kind of things drive coaches absolutely nuts. Not just coaches, fans. Heard from a couple of fans in the stands tonight who watched the game against the crosstown rival Mavericks a week ago, and we're so frustrated with the penalties. That was the theme I think I heard more than anything else.
Maybe it's a stadium thing, because the game you and I just called right before this had a lot of penalties in it. Maybe it's Edmonds Woodway, Edmonds Stadium bringing this out of the players. And as soon as we say that, there's another one.
Daisies bloomin' on the field today. And 3 in a row now. Offsides, false start. And this will be an offside.
Referees getting a lot of work. It makes me kind of wonder a little bit, too. These referees, as you mentioned, doubleheader tonight. It was pouring down rain last game. Did these guys bring 2 different outfits, or do they go and dry off in between games? They've got about a 30-minute break. I'm sure they get a little bite to eat, but I'm thinking they might have been in there wringing their clothes out a little bit, and they might still be in some wet clothing.
So we'll add and subtract by 5 a couple times, and then Morales will roll out underneath, caught, and it is Reinford into the end zone. Touchdown, Warriors! 14 yards on a little rollout to Tyler Reinford for the score.
Beautifully executed play by the Warriors. Morales rolling out. Screen pass from the get-go to Reinford. Reinford got himself open, and once he caught that ball, had a lot of space, but he also did a nice job to make it happen for himself. Found a little opening and headed right towards the end zone, and we might have a tie game here in a moment.
And awaiting the PAT now, Ibram Fati with the kick. It is up. It is through the uprights. And we are tied at 7 apiece here at Edmonds District Stadium. 2:21 remaining, second quarter. Edmonds Woodway, Mountlake Terrace, all tied up. We'll be back on the Sound Live Sports Network. Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
Are you a whiz in filmmaking? Do you want to become extraordinary in filmmaking? Then come to Shoreline Community College and work with Shoreline Productions, where you will learn to transform your work in teams of working professionals and students to create enchanting effects such as green screen, text animation, and so much more. So come to Shoreline Community College, where you can mystify and dazzle in filmmaking.
And we are back again at 7-7 with 2:21 to go. Tie game between these two crosstown rivals. District rivals at that. Riley Morin, it takes the kickoff, finds some space, and he's still going. Riley Morin to the 40, gets to midfield. He's got the kicker to beat, and he's finally brought down. So we wait to see where they're going to spot this one. At the very least, he's inside the 40-yard line of Edmonds Woodway.
One thing that you teach on special teams, especially on kickoff and punt teams, is containment. And you've got to realize where your role is on the outside third of the field as it goes lengthwise. Right there, Edmonds Woodway getting sucked in on containment just a little bit and allowed that ball to be bounced outside.
That is the last time you want to do that. 2 minutes to go in the half. You really are hoping to pin the other team back and make them go into their 2-minute offense. You didn't do that on this play. You gave them the ball at your 38-yard line. So Riley Morin, give him a lot of credit. Kind of came out and surprised me last week. I didn't know he had that kind of speed. He had a couple of nice runs and scored a touchdown. I know what he's got now, and I've seen it again tonight. Nice play by Morin. Lacoste finds room up the middle. Lacoste to the 20, the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Terrace. Riley Morin with the big kick return. Keeping the momentum going. Ryan Lacoste for 38 yards. And the Hawks are back in the lead.
Bottle lightning. One play, 38 yards. You took off 6 seconds.
A little different than that 8 minutes and 8 second drive you had just a moment ago. So here we go with the PAT. Drew Clippert about ready to snap the ball. Gets it to Tanner Munnis. Ivan Melkor puts up the kick, and he gets it through the uprights. 2:01 to go here in the half. We're not through yet. Edmonds Woodway's chance to answer coming up next. You are watching the Sound Live Sports Network.
People assume quality car insurance has to cost more. People assume too much. The truth is, drivers who switched to Allstate last year saved money and got better protection. So get the facts, because you know what they say about people who assume. They pay more for car insurance than you and me.
The Allstate Insurance Agency of Jeff Smar is a proud sponsor of Wesco Athletics. Located in Northwest Bothell, Jeff's office services many areas including Linwood, Edmonds, Bothell, and Mill Creek. Contact Jeff for a quote at 425-949-7103 or email jeffsmar@allstate.com.
Welcome back on the Sound Live Sports Network. A 6-yard drive is all it took to get back in the lead for the Mountlake Terrace Hawks, 14-7. Under the rushing of Ryan Lacoste, 74 yards on 6 carries for that young man. Already getting up there near the century mark, and only 2 drives to do it in, really. And the punt, or the kickoff, is away, and Nash will take it in at the 2. Cross the 10, 15-yard line, cuts it back up to the 20, and stopped at the 22-yard line with 1:53 to go in the first half.
Talk about dangerous kick returners. We saw Riley Morin almost take it to the house on that last kickoff. Nash was a guy who had a few big plays last week.
Absolutely, and not only on special teams, but made a couple huge plays as a receiver on offense for E-Dub. And definitely one of those high-impact players, possession player. And we'll see what Nick Morales can do with 1:53 to go, the 2-minute offense for Edmonds Woodway, and we've got a timeout. And Mountlake Terrace will take the first of 3 with 1:53 to go. I'd like to remind you, right around the corner, the Action Jackson Plumbing halftime program. Go over the games of the day, especially in the Wesco South Division of 3A. Already one in the books with Linwood. Not a league game, but a game against Interlake, which they won in kind of a weird way, which We were talking about contrast between this game, the break between this game and the game we called only a couple hours ago, and 11 drives and either 10 punts or turnovers on downs of the 11 drives in the first half for that early game between Linwood and Interlake. And in this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drives, 3 of which resulted in scores.
Yeah, 3 scores and
quite
only
the contrast.
Yeah, I was going to say only 2 punts so far. It's a very different game. Actually, one punt and one over on downs.
Yeah.
We've only had 1 punt so far tonight.
Here's Chance Justice, has some blocking out in front of him. Now has to go into the crunch of the pile. And a pickup of 8 yards on the stop. Michael Jensen coming out of his safety roll makes the stop. And the clock will move at 1:30 now. 2nd down and a yard to go.
And again, Mikey Jensen also in on that tackle. He is all over the field tonight. Can't say it enough. I knew he's playing injured right now and playing one of the better games I've seen him have thus far.
Taking his time is Morales. He doesn't have a lot of time to burn right now. It goes under center. Here's the pitch. And the little flea flicker, they go right back to Morales. He'll have to give it up the long ball's got a man open. It's Nash. Caught at the 25-yard line and out of bounds. They'll keep the clock moving and then stop it in order to move the chains. I think the officials got confused for a moment. They will indicate he was in bounds when the tackle was made. So as soon as the chains move, the clock will resume with 57 to go. You talked about the big plays that you saw out of Nash in the last ball game. Case and point.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, they've got all 3 of their timeouts left, so plenty of time here. And Nash did a nice job just to get behind everybody. Obviously, it was sold well at the line of scrimmage with the flea flicker. And you saw that ball floating up in the air. Nash was about 20 yards behind everybody. It was just a matter of, was the ball going to come down before Lacoste got there? Nice play by Nash and Morales.
43 seconds and counting. 1st down and 10 at the 22. Play action. Bootleg roll out to the right-hand side. And it's a caught and picked off at the 10-yard line. In and out of the hands of the intended receiver, Brandon Hogarten. And that will end the threat for Edmonds Woodway.
Jacob Walgren just being in the right place at the right time and using his instincts as that ball hit him in the hands pretty quickly. He was able to secure it. And just one of those plays where you see your guy open over the middle there. Or in this case, they were kind of cutting to the outside. Just might have fired it a little bit too hard. It ricocheted, and once that ball's tipped, you never know where it's going to land. In this case, it comes down to a Mountlake Terrace Hawk, and Walgren gets his first INT of the year. And with 30 seconds to go in the half, Mountlake Terrace is going to just take a knee, and hey, they're going to go into the half with a 7-point lead, something that a lot of us did not expect. And I think if you're Coach Umayam and the rest of the staff, 44 minutes into this game, you're feeling pretty good about how things are going.
If you're Hogarten, you've got to catch that ball. Passed a little bit behind you. It wasn't certainly direct on target, but a catch at this level you've got to make. And that will probably end the half, Steve.
Especially after a play like the one that Nash had a minute ago. You had so much momentum. Crowd was all fired up. You got, a 50-something yard play, and then all of a sudden you turn it over. And that, in fact, will bring us to halftime. We're going to have our Action Jackson Plumbing halftime show coming up here very shortly. We're going to take a quick break, but our score here at the half, Mountlake Terrace 14, Edmonds Woodway 7. You are watching the Sound Live Sports Network.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
Hey sports fans, do you want to know when and where your favorite teams in the Westco Conference are playing? Who won the game last night and what the current standings are? Well, it's easy to find out on westcoathletics.com. The information is entered by athletic directors and coaches, so you know it's accurate and up to date, making westcoathletics.com the place to view official scores, schedules, standings, and photos for all the schools and all the sports in the Westco Conference. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook and check out westcoathletics.com, the official website of the Westco Conference.
Okay, welcome back to the Action Jackson Plumbing Halftime Show. We've got a very special guest we're going to interview here in about 2 minutes, but first, we're going to give you a little bonus coverage as to what's going on the field. Edmonds Woodway cheer, Edmonds Woodway dance, and it looks like we have the Mountlake Terrace cheerleaders out there to watch as well. These young ladies all work very hard all season long, and let's make sure that they get their chance to get a little bit of exposure here on the Sound Live Sports Network. So we're going to show you that. And then we've got an interview with a student who had a very good night in her own right last night athletically, but we'll get to that in a moment. And that was the Edmonds Woodway dance team doing an outstanding job. I was about ready to throw it over here, but we've still got action going on the field as both cheer teams are out there together now, Mountlake Terrace and Edmonds Woodway. So let's throw it back to the field. And we're going to watch both schools now doing a little collaboration effort here and performing together tonight. And once again, that was your halftime entertainment, the Edmonds Woodway and the Mountlake Terrace cheerleaders, as well as the Edmonds Woodway dance team. And while we're going at it and while we're bringing you extra bonus coverage of athletes and other folks who perform at both of these schools, we've got a special guest here right now. Maddie Schultz is joining us. Maddie Schultz is a soccer player at Edmonds Woodway. And before we go and talk about your career and where you're going, let's talk a little bit about last night.
Definitely.
You played Oak Harbor. Final score was 8-1.
Yep.
How many goals did you score last night?
I had 5 by myself.
She had 5 goals by herself. So a hat trick. That wasn't enough, so she scored 2 more just for good measure. And what was the score at halftime? Was it a close game for a while?
Oh, gosh, no. I think I missed 3 or 4 shots. I think we were up by 2-0 at half. So
Keith Neatley and I were joking earlier. We were wondering how many shots you took on goal, and we're thinking, well, she got 5 goals. Maybe she's good enough to where she only has to shoot 4 times and gets bonus points. But
no, we're not there yet.
You're not quite there. So you are going to, and I see you have the lanyard on around your neck.
Yes, indeed.
You're going to play at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill next year, a very storied program. I know for one, there's a certain woman player named Mia Hamm that came out of there.
Yeah, there's a few.
There's national championships. It's a #1 program. I'm going to ask the question, although it sounds silly after just building it up like that, but why North Carolina?
Pretty much it wasn't the easiest decision of my life, to be honest. Some people would just handedly go there, but what they really just have to offer and just how they train and just what they can produce, it kind of was just a had-to-do kind of offer.
Now, you know that North Carolina's not right down the street, too, right? So you're traveling a ways for that.
I am, but Mom and Dad seem pretty sure that they're going to visit often, so we'll see how that is.
Now, when you and I were talking off the air a minute ago, I was asking you how long the offer's been on the table, and you told me that North Carolina didn't initially pursue you. You pursued them.
Absolutely.
And then what happened?
Well, actually, I pursued them before I left for a tournament to Florida and had a heck of a run there. And then immediately they were pretty into it.
I think the term you used earlier was you killed it.
I killed it.
Nice.
You
Let's just call it what it is. You killed it. Why not?
Right.
So North Carolina, and you said you were considering UCLA and a few others, right?
Yeah, it was about UCLA, Duke, and to be honest, our home school, UW.
Oh, you did look at UW. Okay.
Gotta love the hometown.
Yeah, definitely. How's the team looking right now this year? Now let's go back to high school for a moment. Warrior soccer, obviously they have a North Carolina prospect on their team, but how's the rest of the team doing?
Well, gosh, I think we have 3 other commits going D1 too. So to be honest,
you want to give them a shout out?
Yeah, we have Ashley Fonson going to OSU. We have Riley going to Nevada, and we have Kira going to Penn.
Well, so if you want to follow some of these young ladies from the class of 15, you're going to have to get on a plane. It's not the car isn't going to cut it this time.
No,
so,
it's not.
Did the 4 of you ever talk amongst each other? Was there ever any talk of any of them going to the same schools?
I mean, to be honest, we've kind of all grown up playing soccer together. Mm-hmm. But really, when it comes down to it, it's just kind of a personal choice and kind of just everybody's different. I keep trying to get some of my best friends to come with me, and they are not interested.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
So now you score 8 goals in a game. Your football team only has 7 points at halftime. Did you give the guys encouragement today at school?
I have a twin brother on the team, and I told him he better play one heck of a game. So we'll see how his second half goes.
You said sister's already had a good week.
Exactly. Gotta step up your game.
There's a lot of players that have trouble scoring 5 goals in an entire season.
I hadn't scored all season and then 1 game. Actually, my friend Kelvin told me I had to score 5 goals if I wanted to go to homecoming with him, and I did.
Is that a true story?
It's true.
He told you needed to score 5 goals in a game?
5 goals if I wanted to go to homecoming with him.
So really, if the Warriors want more production out of you moving forward on the season,
bribe me.
Bribe you with dances, and you'll go out and score 4 or 5 goals a night.
Dances, dinner, whatever you got to offer.
Well, there you go, guys. And I'm sure North Carolina would. Well, we shouldn't talk about bribes because I think there's NCAA rules and regulations.
There's a few.
But so yeah, colleges don't do that. But if Calvin and some others want to do that, go for it. So hey, again, Maddie, congratulations to you on last night.
Thank you so much.
Not only that, but congratulations on the offer from North Carolina.
Thanks,
Continued success for you, and we look forward to watching you maybe on TV one of these days on ESPN during a national championship.
That would be great.
But until then, you got to take care of business in Wesco, and who knows, maybe beyond.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
Thank you.
Maddie Schultz, once again, our guest. 5 goals last night. Keep following her all season long. You can follow probably a lot of Maddie's games on myedmondsnews.com, as I'm sure they'll be writing about you plenty, especially if you keep scoring like that. And beyond that. So again, Maddie, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to take a quick break. Our score once again here from Edmonds District Stadium, the Mountlake Terrace Hawks 14, the Edmonds Woodway Warriors 7. When we come back, we'll get the second half underway. You are watching the Action Jackson Plumbing halftime show on the Sound Alive Sports Network.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
Keith Neely.
Hi.
That was quite the interview. Maddie Schultz, 5 goals last night.
Well, just an impressive little lady. You can just tell the way she handles herself in an interview that she's got a lot going for her. Not only on the soccer field, but just a fabulous young lady. Comes from a fabulous family, and all the best.
Yeah, easy student to root for, and
You
certainly
betcha.
it sounds like we wish her all the best, and she's well on her way already. Let's get back to our game, though. 14-7 at halftime. I'm a Mountlake Terrace alum. You know that. I've got a little bit of a rooting interest, and I'm not going to lie, I did not see this coming tonight.
Didn't necessarily see it coming, but you don't play on paper. You don't play in the polls. You don't play anywhere else. You got to do it on the football field. Very cliche, but a fabulous ball game. And when a team comes down on their first possession and eats up 8 minutes and 8 seconds of clock, goes 80 yards and scores, you think, wow, that may be a fluke. That may be what the rest of the ball game is going to be. As a fan, you hope it continues. And Edmonds Woodway almost duplicates the feat in their first possession. They go 78 yards in their first possession, come up 2 yards short on a 4th and goal, or a 4th and 1. And boy, if that battle continues the rest of the season, I know you're going to get into stats, but I mean the rest of this ball game, everyone out there that's watching Sound Live Sports Network right now is in for one heck of a treat.
Yeah, and certainly if you're Coach John Gradwell for Edmonds Woodway, you're not happy with what's on the scoreboard right now, but your team is moving the ball. You've got 165 yards of total offense, and as you just mentioned, that's 165 yards in a game in which Mountlake Terrace has eaten up a lot of the clock, so your offense hasn't had a lot of opportunities. But when they're out there, they're moving the ball, I wouldn't say at will, but they're moving the ball down the field rather easily. They just haven't had a lot to show for it on the scoreboard. And if I'm him, I'm telling my guys, keep doing what you're doing. Let's make sure we cut down on those mistakes. That interception was costly, and certainly they got bottled up at the goal line there, but they're doing what they need to get this ball down the field.
It was costly in that it stalled the drive. I don't think it was necessarily costly in that it is going to work between the ears of the players, because they were going down on a 2-minute offense. They were trying to march another 80 yards for a score. It definitely stalled things, but I don't think it's going to be the undoing of the Edmonds Woodway Warriors.
Not at all.
Couple of huge plays, right? I think, what did we say? It took 6 seconds for Mountlake Terrace after Edmonds Woodway answered with the equalizer to come right back and score their 14th. Edmonds Woodway came back with a long play to Nash that looked like that was going to set up the equalizer going the other way. A little bit of everything. Sustained drives, bottled lightning. Everything's happening in this ball game. It's really fun to watch.
And for anybody who watched our last game tonight, this is their second of a doubleheader. Very similar in the sense that we talked about that before. Special teams are big, and we saw it again tonight. The last Mountlake Terrace touchdown being set up by a 60-plus yard kickoff return by Riley Morin. It's a lot easier to only have to go 38 yards than it is to go 80, and that's what set up the Ryan Lacoste touchdown.
Absolutely, and it really, you sit right here, right now, you have absolutely no idea what the second half is going to be.
Well, we're going to find, that's the beauty of it. We get to find out in just a few moments here. So
I don't think anybody tipped their hat as far as the coaching staff.
Not at all. So we're going to take another quick break on the Action Jackson Plumbing Halftime Show. We're very close to getting this going, so we're going to take a quick commercial and come right back. Mountlake Terrace 14, Edmonds Woodway 7 on the Sound Live Sports Network.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com. Welcome back as we get ready to start the second half of play here between the Mountlake Terrace Hawks and the Edmonds Woodway Warriors on the Sound Live Sports Network, presented by Shoreline Community College. 14-7 the score in a beautiful football game by any high school standards. Mountlake Terrace with a touchdown lead as they head into the break. Keith Neely and Steve Willits with you, getting set for another 24 minutes of high school football already in the books. Linwood victors tonight. And up at Glacier Peak, the Meadowdale Mavericks, at last check, were up 23-8 over the Glacier Peak Grizzlies, in a game that many considered the championship of the league in the Wesco 3A.
Well, it's certainly from the Meadowdale standpoint, because that it will pretty much wrap it up for them. Whereas if Glacier Peak were to win that game or to come back and win, it would set up a very interesting matchup with one of these two teams possibly down the road for that first place spot. But with Meadowdale looking pretty good right now, the only three teams they have left in Wesco are Linwood, Shorewood, and Shorecrest. Not to say that that's necessarily an easy route, but it's a much easier route than some of the other schools would have.
It would take a meltdown, I think, by the Meadowdale Mavericks if they were to lose one of those three games, although Linwood has looked tough at times, and they could certainly stumble and stub their toe into the turf and make things a little interesting. I just really don't see that happening.
I don't either, and hey, I'm very impressed with what Keontae Bankhead and his coaching staff and the players have done at Linwood this year. I don't know that I'm ready to put them up in the Linwood, Glacier Peak, Edmonds Woodway, and maybe Mountlake Terrace if they win tonight argument, but we'll see. It'll be interesting. And oh, by the way, I should point out, since we just kind of segued to it, another game going on in Wesco 3A South tonight, and I just got a text from one of our fans, super fan, who watches us all of our broadcasts. He is over at Shoreline Stadium through three quarters. Shorewood 17, Shorecrest 0. So the Thunderbirds are beating the Scots, and I would call it the Battle of Shoreline, but the folks over at Kings might argue with that, so it might be even the battle for second in Shoreline these days. But
both of those two teams obviously at the bottom of the pack as we look at our Wesco football 3A standings. Glacier Peak right now may slip to the Mavericks from that first spot, undefeated 3-0 overall. We'll see how the rest of that fourth quarter plays out up at Memorial Stadium in Snohomish. Linwood right in the mix, Terrace in the mix, Edmonds Woodway right there in the mix, but it really comes down to a season right now if you're either the Hawks or the Warriors in a, you hate to say the third or fourth game of the season is a must-winner, but for these two teams to really come out with any push into the playoffs, it really is a must-win game.
Well, and especially if you're Edmonds Woodway right now, you've got a two-game losing streak, two heartbreaking losses really. You were tied either at the end of regulation in one game or late in the fourth quarter of the other, and you came away on the short end both times. Edmonds Woodway, this would be new territory for them. They don't go 1-3 very often, and to see them get their second loss in conference play this early in the season, that would be a bit of a shock to a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely would be. It's a bit of a program that John Gradwall has built here in those 19 seasons, one that's not accustomed to losing very often. They will receive the football to start the second half of play. And we'll see what they can do with it.
It's Ivan Melkor back to kick one more time.
And Abdulli Jada and Nash in the back to receive for Edmonds Woodway, hovering about the 5-yard line, as we await the referee to signal things are a go, and they are a go, and it is caught at the 20-yard line, 30, so decent field position, and a fumble. Now he's still on his feet. That's a strange play.
I looked away.
Grant Whitcutt catches the football. A special teams guy, one of those secondary guys that probably made his night right there on a huge pickup. And again, Edmonds Woodway will benefit from some great field position at the 49-yard line.
Keith, you are not kidding. That was a strange play. I completely looked away thinking the play was over, and then all of a sudden I heard this round of applause down below us here and looked up, and Whitcup was still running with the ball.
And an injured Hawk down on the field about the 35-yard line on the far hash mark. Only 9 seconds off the clock here in the third quarter. Edmonds Woodway will host Linwood a week from today here at the home of both Linwood and Edub, but it is Edub's homecoming at Edmonds District Stadium. Mountlake Terrace will go on the road to Shoreline Stadium to face Shorecrest a week from today.
And if you're Mountlake Terrace, if you were able to pull out this victory, that would put you at 3-1. And I'll just come right out and say it. Shorecrest, and I'm on record for saying it anyway. I've said it on a podcast this weekend on a radio show, so why not make it a 3 spot here? Shorecrest is not very good. They're struggling right now, and it's a team that lost to Linwood 55-0 a couple weeks ago. They're losing 17-0 right now. If you're the Hawks, you certainly don't want to look past anybody, but we talked about Edmonds Woodway not being used to being 1-3. If Mountlake Terrace can come away from it with a victory tonight and be 3-1, I'm feeling very confident that they would be 4-1, and that's a place where I don't think they've been in maybe ever. I mean, this is a team that went 20 years without a winning season up until 2006. Again, there's a lot of football left to be played here tonight, and Edmonds Woodway is certainly showing that they can move the ball. But if for some reason or somehow the Hawks can pull out a victory tonight, they're going to be excited about next week.
Jacob Walgren being helped off the field, the Hawks player that was down, and he is not doing so very easily. He's getting a lot of help. It looks like he's got an ankle problem or perhaps a knee, the way they're hauling him off, and I would doubt he would re-enter the ball game.
Yeah, and Walgren, one of the better players in that secondary, he was the one that had the interception late in the second quarter. That's a huge blow for the Hawks.
First down and 10, ball on the 49-yard line. Handoff. No, back to pass. Picked off. That's the second in as many throws for Morales. And they start the first play of this second half with a turnover.
Yeah, Gabe Brady, who plays outside linebacker and often lines up almost like a defensive end, dropping back into coverage that time. We know he's got the hands. He's one of the better wide receivers on this Hawks team. Brady picking off his first pass of the year and putting the Hawks in great field position. And Morales, I was a little surprised he threw that one. Just looked right at him and threw in his direction.
It almost looked like that was the intended receiver.
I was thinking it, but I wasn't going to say it. Yeah.
Threw it directly to the defender. And now the Hawks will start first and 10 with the ball on the 28.
Yeah, and only 18 seconds gone in the third quarter. Here we go. Hopkins with the ball, hands off to Malcolm Johnson. And the Edmonds Woodway Warriors are not going to give him room to do much of anything. Might have picked up a yard on the play.
Spencer Schultz in on the tackle along with Anthony Soto.
So 2nd and 9 from the 27. Daniel Johnson, number 6, coming into the game. We know he's a dangerous threat on the outside as he's going to line up on the far left side. Hawks running their version of the wing T. Lacoste lined up on one wing on the right, Morin on the other. They're going to hand up the middle. No, they're going to give it to Lacoste. Lacoste finds some more room. He's still going. 15, 10, 5. Did he get into the end zone? He fumbled the football as we await to see what the referees are going to say, and they give him the touchdown. Touchdown, Terrace. Boy, that was close, Keith Neely, as that ball came shooting out of Lacoste's hands right around that goal line. I'd like to see, we're going to get a replay as we look down on our screen right here. That was a play before that, but we might have to see that at some point. They don't do instant replay in high school, so it's not going to matter either way, but that was awfully close. Either way, Lacoste with his second touchdown of the night. Hawks 20, Edmonds Woodway 7.
Trying to find the replay here, watching it most like everybody else does on the delay here on the Sound Live Sports Network webcast to try to catch exactly what happened there. It's almost like a mini time machine up here.
And we do get a whistle as the play is blown dead. We've got a little bit of jumping around here, and here's the play right now. So we are watching it. You're not at home, but at least Keith and I can give you a little bit more of a background as to what we saw.
10 yards, 5 yards. Ball came out before it crossed
Boy,
the
it's
end
close,
line.
isn't it? I mean, his body is definitely not over. He held his arm out. Yeah, I would like to go back and watch that one in slow motion. It was awfully close, and the fact that the ball went out of the back of the end zone, that would have resulted in a touchback and a turnover for Edmonds Woodway had they ruled that the ball came out before he got in.
Coaching staff for Edmonds Woodway threw up a bit of a fight, but then it was quickly erased. But now you've just got to put up a real fight. You've got to get your boys on the field and quit turning the ball over if you're Edmonds Woodway. 2 very costly turnovers. The second one much more costly than the first.
Yeah, so a very exciting 68 seconds, a turnover and a touchdown. Hawks 21, Edmonds Woodway 7. You are watching the Sound Live Sports Network.
Are you a whiz in filmmaking? Do you want to become extraordinary in filmmaking? Then come to Shoreline Community College and work with Shoreline Productions, where you will learn to transform your work in teams of working professionals and students to create enchanting effects such as green screen, text animation, and so much more. So come to Shoreline Community College, where you can mystify and dazzle in filmmaking.
Welcome back on the Sound Live Sports Network. Edmonds Woodway has to start back right where they had begun the half with receiving the kickoff. And this time they won't quite have as good field position as they did a drive before. And boy, it is happening absolutely quick for Mountlake Terrace.
I didn't offer this up to you this year, but we can still go back and talk about it now. Last year, you and I bet that one of us would get our head shaved based on the outcome of the game. I lost and was bald a couple of weeks later. Care to make a wager?
21-7. No would be the answer. 10:45 to go, first down and 10 yards to go on the 27. Morales hands the ball off. It goes to Chance Justice for 4.
Nice job by the Terrace defense there as they just swarmed to that ball. Number 56, Billy Parkins, standing Justice up, and then 3 or 4 other players immediately rushing over to finish him off, and that's what you want a defense to do. You want them to rush to the football, gang up on the running back, and send them on down.
Right now you've got to have and coach short-term memory. If you're Edmonds Woodway, just shake off that last 50 seconds of football and go out and put together a remaining half that is worthwhile. Morales under center now will hand the ball up once again into a pile, 5 yards, 4 yards. Once again for the ball carrier, Justice.
And Keith, I will be very curious to see what the next pass attempt looks like from Edmonds Woodway and Morales. Certainly if you are a coach of a high school team, you always have to kind of worry about the psyche of your quarterback. As you mentioned before, 2 straight pass attempts now have been intercepted. I don't know if we're going to get a pass attempt here necessarily, but I would imagine he's going to do something more intermediary or short.
3rd down and 2 on the 35 for Morales. Has twins to the far side against a 3-4 defense of the Mountlake Terrace Hawks. Here's the handoff. It goes to Justice. He picks up the first down and still on his feet past the 40-yard line down to the 45 and a penalty flag. And that is in face mask territory.
Yeah, when there's only one person wearing green in the scrum and that person's got both of his hands around a football, I don't think there's much he can do in terms of infractions. That's more than likely going against Mountlake Terrace.
And now head coach John Gradwell walking out to see how his tailback is after getting his helmet ripped off. Has to come out of the ball game. Chance looks like he's okay. And it was either a spearing or a hand to the head, a hand to the face, and it will result in an automatic first down anyway. Already a first down, but after the 15-yard penalty, the chains move a whole lot of distance.
That is a lot of yardage to pick up on one play. Like you said, the run itself was very impressive as Justice got about 7 or 8 of those yards on his own, or by on his own, I mean he had 4 guys on his back, so with them, but the wrong guys, and then he gets the 15 yards on top of it.
Ball placed on the 40 of Mountlake Terrace. Back to pass is Morales. Gets his Gradwall at the 35-yard line. Drop there for a 6-yard pickup. And you go back to the psyche of your quarterback. You talk about the 2 previous throws, both interceptions. I don't think if you're a quarterback coach, you're even worrying about the first one. That was a catchable ball that Hogarten should have had, and you make sure that you know in your quarterback's brain that that was not his fault. Second one may be a little questionable, where he threw it directly to the defender. But right now, he's got his team on the move. Second down and 4 yards to go with the ball on the 34. 8:29 to go, third quarter. It is Reinford, steps around one defender, breaks another tackle, still on his feet, busts it outside, past the 30-yard line, gets the first down and out of bounds. That was a circus run right there. Inside, outside, finally breaks it out. It is a 6-yard pickup and a first down for Reinford.
Yeah, Reinford was immediately met in the backfield by Malcolm Johnson and had to sidestep him, broke away from Malcolm, and still managed to find his way towards that first down marker. Exactly what you want on a second and short.
That first down set up by the nice little swing out pass to Gradwell a play before. We'll see what they do now as they split the receivers with two in the backfield. That is Venema at the fullback and Reinford as the tailback. Here is the swing. It is a bootleg, a little screen pass. They get it to Venema. He'll turn it up, gets a block, and is down just outside the 20-yard line at the 22. A pickup of 8.
Nice setup on the screenplay. That's exactly what you want. You let those first two defenders come in at your quarterback, suck them on in, throw it over their heads. You had your lead blocker out in front, picked up a nice block, and Venema in the process picked up 6 yards and got them that much closer to another first down.
Morales sold that well, and of course it helps to be as tall as he is, 6'2", to look over those on-rushing DNs in order to get rid of the ball. And it is second down and 4 with the ball on the 23. 7 minutes to play here in the third. Looking for the hard count. Now will spin out. Ball bootleg rolls out to his left. Has a man open, Hogarten, and he in and out of his hands. I think had he caught it, he would have been out of bounds at the 6. It would have been incomplete anyway.
Nice call. I mean, you roll Morales out. You've got Hogarten open briefly. I mean, it would have had to have been a very nice, almost a perfect pass to get him there, because he had Ryan Lacoste right on his heels. But certainly the idea wasn't a bad one. It just couldn't quite execute it.
The play developed very slowly. Hogarten was open earlier in the route, and then by the time Morales was able to elude the backfield pressure and roll out to his left, the space collapsed a little bit. Brings up third down and 4. 23 is where the ball is placed. 6:48 to go, third quarter. They hand it off to Justice. Busts it outside and stopped. No gain. And that'll bring up another decision for head coach John Gradwell on fourth down.
Well, and you asked me earlier, knowing that I know the Mountlake Terrace personnel a little bit better, what the field goal situation was like for Mountlake Terrace.
You're down 2 touchdowns. I don't think it matters right now if you even have a good kicker with the ball on the 20-yard line. I think you have to go for it on 4th and 2.
Yeah, you're kind of, it's a tough call because you're at that point in the game where you still have plenty of time left, so if you could get easy points, you take them, but you're right. Quarter and a half left, you're down by 14.
The way Mountlake Terrace is running the ball,
that's a good point.
I think I go for it here on 4th down. We'll see what happens. Morales in the shotgun formation, rolls out slightly to his right. Now they'll cross it back to Hogarten, has the pass at the 15-yard line. First down, still on his feet, into the end zone. Touchdown, Warriors! E-Dub with a 21-yard strike. And they inch closer to the Mountlake Terrace lead, 21-13 now with 5:53 to go, third quarter.
Boy, beautiful play there. Rolling out to the right, looking back to the left. Hogarten over there by himself. Had a blocker in front of him. Once he got past the initial tackler, or to-be tackler, created some space on his own, broke a tackle, and found his way into the end zone. Doesn't get much better than that if you're Edmonds Woodway.
And you go back to Morales and having enough to think about after 2 interceptions, comes right back and gets a 21-yard strike to Brandon Hohengarten to make it 21-14 right now. Terrace by a touchdown. We'll come back with 5:53 in the third quarter on the Sound Live Sports Network. Stick around.
People assume quality car insurance has to cost more. People assume too much. The truth is, drivers who switched to Allstate last year saved money and got better protection. So get the facts, because you know what they say about people who assume. They pay more for car insurance than you and me.
The Allstate Insurance Agency of Jeff Smar is a proud sponsor of Wesco Athletics. Located in Northwest Bothell, Jeff's office services many areas including Linwood, Edmonds, Bothell, and Mill Creek. Contact Jeff for a quote at 425-949-7103 or email jeffsmar@allstate.com. And we are back again at Edmonds District Stadium and an onside kick, squib kick of sorts. Nice job by number 41 on the play. That was Michael Mosley, recognizing that that was a live ball. At that point, it doesn't matter what kind of a return you get. Just make sure you secure the ball for your offense, and that's exactly what Mosley did.
Not a bad choice right now. 5:52, you feel you've got some momentum. Perhaps you get a lucky bounce on the onside kick. If you feel good about your defense, give it a try.
And, you know, quite frankly, the ball ended up far enough downfield to where it wasn't that much different than a return.
Probably not.
32-yard line, especially after the last kickoff return that the Hawks had, where Riley Morin took it all the way back to the Edmonds Woodway 38-yard line. Hawks taking over right now. Ryan Lacoste looking for some space up the middle. Finds a little bit of room, but not much. Might have picked up 3 yards. Brings up a 2nd and 7 for Mountlake Terrace.
Isaiah Salud steps right up from that linebacker spot. The inside linebacker saw the hole immediately and came up and met the ball carrier Lacoste, or the damage would have been a lot greater.
2 Mountlake Terrace players jogging onto the field right now after heading over to the sideline. Justin and Josh brothers. That's the Hopkins family. Twin brothers at that. So we haven't seen that combination yet tonight. 7-11. See if we might get one of those here. 2nd and 7. No, they're going to keep it on the ground. They're going to give it to Riley Moore, and he's trying to find room out to the left, find some space. He's got speed if he can get around there. Nice job by the Warriors to contain him, and a very late flag thrown at the 30-yard line, almost at the end of the play.
And interesting, it was so far in the backfield. I really don't know how they're going to unravel that one. It was about 10 yards behind the play where the flag was thrown. Usually that's a holding penalty or a block in the back. But it was so late, you want to think it's a face mask penalty, and they say it was a holding call.
So Mountlake Terrace is going to get pushed back here a little bit and holding on to that 7-point lead, knowing that the Edmonds Woodway offense seems to be picking up some steam here. Not exactly a good time to give them the ball back on a 3 and out. And if you're Mountlake Terrace right now, you're looking at a 2nd and long as we wait to see where they're going to spot it. Not going to be easy for them to pick this one up, as it looks as though it's going to be put on the 22-yard line. It's going to bring up a 2nd and about 21 right now for the Hawks.
Right now, if you're Edmonds Woodway, 2 things. 1, don't get beat over the top on a pass. And 2, you contain on the outside. You're pushing ball carriers back inside where you've got some help and keep them from those long runs along the sidelines.
Hawks only lining up 1 wide receiver on the outside. That's Daniel Johnson up on the top left there. Sticking in that wing team offense. Hopkins dropping back to pass. He was looking for Lacoste. Now he's getting blitzed. He points down the field, takes off running, has 1 blocker, puts his shoulder down and gets forward to the 31-yard line. A gain of 9 yards, and really, under those circumstances, not a bad play for the quarterback.
Not at all. Great pressure in the backfield. Ends up coming forward where Spencer Schultz and Tyler Reinford wrap up the quarterback. And initially, it looked like there were a couple men downfield, exactly what we talked about a play ago, behind the defensive backs, but I don't think because of all the commotion in the backfield that Hopkins was able to see him open.
So Mountlake Terrace looking at a 3rd and 11 right now. Brother Josh lined up at the flanker position. Gabe Brady lined up outside of him. Hopkins rolling out to the left. He's going to throw deep. He's looking for Brady down the field. Incomplete. Nice job by number 16, the quarterback.
Nick Morales
playing the little center field back there. Made sure that Brady did not have a chance to catch that ball.
Starting safety last season before he got the quarterback role handed to him this season. So he's definitely adept back there in Morales. Knows where he has to be playing a whole season a year ago.
He does an excellent job there, forcing the 4th down and 11. Austin Bates back onto the field to punt. 3:37 to go here, third quarter of action. Mountlake Terrace with a 21-14 lead. However, Edmonds Woodway about to get the ball back. There's Nash taking it over on the 29-yard line. Almost dropped there as Daniel Johnson had a shot at him, misses it. Coming in to clean it up, though, is Colin Rutker.
And Nash lost 5 yards on the play.
I was going to give Nash credit for eluding the first tackler, but it cost him yards in the end, but still a nice play. And give Daniel Johnson credit. He wasn't able to finish him off, but he certainly slowed him down to where Rutker could come in and make the big tackle.
Punter on the play. A thundering boom to allow his players to get under it. The Gunners got down there just about the same time the ball did, and that's almost where you got to do the fair catch, I think, if you're at this point. Nonetheless, the ball on the 23-yard line after the Terrace punt. Edmonds Woodway cut into the lead with a touchdown on their last possession. Now the handoff goes straight away. Running downhill is Chance Justice.
Justice continues to impress, just finds openings there right up the middle. Budges his way forward. I was going to say gets close to a first down, but he in fact picked up the first down. I think he needed 10 yards on that play and might have picked up 10 1/4. Moves the chains, and Edmonds Woodway back in business again.
Plenty of time with 3:08 to go, third quarter. After a very efficient first half. Both of these teams playing very well. There's the ball passed over the middle, in and out of the hands of Nash, the intended receiver. And that's the second time in about the same place that Morales has gotten the ball through to his receiver, and they can't hang on.
And I'll tell you what, Nash had a little bit of space, being as quick as he is, and we've seen what he can do in open field and open spaces. That might have been an interesting play.
He might have been thinking of that too.
That might be very well why he dropped that ball. You're right. He might have been thinking ahead and didn't think to secure the ball first.
Second down and 10 with 3 minutes to go. Here's the pitch. Out to Justice, has to cut it back to the inside. He'll be dropped for a loss. Great pursuit by the Hawks on the play.
This is going to bring up a 3rd and 11, and this will be interesting. We've seen Morales, he's been hit or miss here. He's completed a few very nice passes downfield. He's also thrown a couple of interceptions, and we have an injury.
And I believe that is Justice down on the play. And he is struggling to get up. Tried to get up twice now and then just falls right back to the turf. And that would be unfortunate for Edmonds Woodway, although your starting tailback certainly as important as any player on the field. Edmonds Woodway has a pair right behind him that can run the ball should Justice be out the rest of the ball game. So all is not lost for Edmonds Woodway. Waiting to see what is going on with Chance Justice, the senior. As we mentioned, Edmonds Woodway at home a week from tonight. They will play the Linwood Royals at the 5 o'clock game, the early game a week from today. And then out to Shoreline Stadium will be the Hawks. Justice pops up and off under his own power, although favoring that left knee, it looks like.
And always good to see a player like Justice, or any player for that matter, hop up and be able to walk off on their own. Always get a little bit worried when you see a player down for a period of time, and Justice looks like he's going to be okay.
Third down and 11 yards, a bit worrisome for the Warriors. And back to pass is Morales on the rollout. Looking deep, has a man coming back now. Caught at the 48-yard line, and it's Gradwall once again on the comebacker to pick up the first down. He has been as steady as any at wide receiver for Edmonds Woodway, especially on third down.
He's impressive. I mean, the ultimate possession type of receiver. You just throw it in his direction, you know he's going to catch it, and he's a very solid route runner. He's creating space for himself. He's getting open. He doesn't need to catch the ball in traffic because he's beating his man every time.
First down and 10 on the 48-yard line, 2:18 to go. Here in the third quarter, Morales surveys his offensive line, now goes under center, 2 in the backfield. They'll hand the ball off to the fullback, Venema, straight ahead, picks up 6. Great job on the counter, Nick Venema, 1 step to his left, busts out right, and I think caught the the front line off guard for Mountlake Terrace on that play.
Just noticed that number 5 came running back onto the field as well. So Chance Justice out for one play, right back in. Always like to see that.
Did a little of that magic spray on the knee. We're always joking soccer players look like they get shot with a gun. And as they writhe around on the ground, and then you get a little magic spray out on them, and they can sprint 200 yards in the next possession. Back to passes Morales. Swing out to Gradwall. Gets by the first tackler, and then drug to the ground inside the 40-yard line. Another first down. Josh Gradwall. Plays a little like Wes Welker.
He's got a little Wes Welker in him. I think maybe even more so, though. He's able to use the get open on the outside, whereas Welker's more of an inside guy.
Right.
And, yeah, if you're 135 pounds, if you could avoid having to go over the middle, it's a good thing. You don't want to get hit by those safeties and those linebackers. So give Gradwell a lot of credit. He just finds space, he gets open, and he's able to elude tacklers like he did there.
Under a minute now, as Morales has another first down. Here is Justice, comes right back on the field. He's not lost. He knows where he is after the injury. Another 6-yard pickup for the senior.
And boy, if that was his knee that's hurt, I think he's a quick healer. He just jumped back up off of the bottom of that pile and sprinted back to the huddle.
And of course, the late night game, you don't know how hydrated these kids are. Cramps certainly have shown themselves in the late game more than the early game, at least in my experience. So it could very well have just been a calf cramp for Justice. 25 seconds to go in the third now. As a missed play, Morales just has to pick it up and try to lunge forward. Gets close to the first down. And the busted play picks up 2. Morales a yard short.
I like the style points, too, the dive. I mean, he knew he had nowhere else to go. He knew he was about to get tackled. Just lunged himself forward, and like you said, he almost got to the first down marker.
Well, a lunge forward on 6'2" equals about 2 yards.
Bingo, especially when you're tall.
And that'll end the third quarter of play. It's a ball game. 21-14, Mountlake Terrace. A touchdown ahead of the Warriors of Edmonds Woodway. We'll be back. One more to play. 12 minutes on the clock. You're watching the Sound Live Sports Network.
Welcome to Northwest Best, brought to you by Smart Service Subaru. Here's your host, Mike Halsey.
We're back at the Red Onion in Mountlake Terrace, and I'm with the owner, Sean, and the food here is absolutely terrific. The burgers are made with 100% beef, made to order with fresh ingredients. And you're involved in a lot of community projects.
Yes, Mike, we are. With the help of our loyal customers, we're able to give back to our community. Such as we take 100 kids shopping with cops and join us for our terrific Tuesday fundraisers. Join us
at Red Onion Burger. And thank you for watching.
Welcome in, 12 minutes back on the clock for the final stanza. Fourth quarter upon us here. The Mountlake Terrace Hawks with a touchdown lead. Like to welcome in everybody watching at Red Onion Burgers in Mountlake Terrace. Glad to have them aboard. Glad you're watching on the big screen.
Yeah, and I'm kind of wishing, well, not really because I'm enjoying this game, but I could go for one of those chocolate shakes right now. I'm a huge Red Onion chocolate shake guy. Sean?
Third down and 1. The spin, the counter, back to Chance Justice. Another first down to the 25-yard line. Edmonds Woodway still able to keep things going forward, and the chains will move again.
By the way, how cool is this? A couple years ago, we started off just hoping to get on the internet, and now you can go to restaurants and watch our broadcasts each and every week while you eat a burger or drink a shake or hang out with your family. It's nice that we're able to do this, and we appreciate Red Onion for everything that they do and for their support.
Now I got this whole chocolate shake thing in my mind. Thanks, Steve.
You come over to Mountlake Terrace tomorrow, Keith. I'll get you one. It's good stuff. Made with real chocolate ice cream.
First down and 10 on the 26. Edmonds Woodway has Gradwall on the near side. Nash on the far side. A delay of game penalty will back it up 5 yards.
And I didn't mean to imply that there's fake chocolate ice cream. I meant they use chocolate ice cream and not vanilla.
Real
now I'm getting hungry.
You're putting way too much thought into this, Steve.
Yeah, well, sometimes I like putting thought into it. It sounds good, but not when I'm in Edmonds and they're in Mountlake Terrace. And it gives me an idea for what I might be doing tomorrow, though.
Sounds like it.
I know.
11:22 to go. We're just getting started here in the fourth quarter. Nick Morales under center. and a hard count. And that could be anywhere. And a false start will go against Edmonds Woodway. And now, after a picture-perfect drive thus far, the wheels kind of coming off the truck for Edmonds Woodway, and you're going to have to settle them down.
Yeah, 1st and 20 is a lot different than a 1st and 10 in terms of play selection, and certainly it kills a lot of the momentum that you had going as well. So this is going to be a big play here to see if you can, you don't have to get it all back in one play. You've got 3 opportunities, maybe 4 if you feel like you're in 4-down territory, depending on where you end up. But certainly it's not the way Edmonds Woodway intended to start this 4th quarter off.
Morales now turns and looks at Gradwall, the player, and now a pass over the middle, almost picked off.
Daniel Johnson had that one in his hands for a brief moment, and if he would have been able to hold on to it, he's one of the faster players out there on that field, and he might have had some space.
Nash was the intended receiver, and I don't think that Johnson was even seen by Morales as he lurked in the weeds back there in the linebacking core of the Hawks. And 11:19 to go. You've got enough time if you're Edmonds Woodway to probably get a couple more drives together, but boy, how much momentum would you gain by punching it in here on this drive, should it come to fruition? Here's the play action fake bootleg as Morales rolls out to his right, and he will throw underneath to Hogarten, 20 yards, down to the 15, where they mark it. First down, Edmonds Woodway. Holy smoke, what a play.
Yeah, and give Morales a lot of credit. That's right about at that point where a lot of players, a lot of quarterbacks, once they roll out that far and get out of that pocket, they tend to want to put it away and stop looking downfield. He kept his eyes rolling the entire time, waited for Hogarten to get open, and hit him.
Here's the handoff once again to Justice, able to get outside. I think you talk about the speed of Daniel Johnson. You saw it right there on pursuit of Justice.
Yeah, Johnson, a very impressive player. Only a sophomore. I know that this Mountlake Terrace Hawks football team went down and camped at Oregon State University this year during the summer. Caught the eye of Mr. Mike Riley, the head coach at Oregon State, who was watching him on all of his drills. Again, a very young player. He's got a couple more years to develop, and I'm already liking what I'm seeing out of him this early in his career.
2nd down and 5 now. Clock continues to move at 10:22. And Morales spins around, hands off to Venema. He's got some room. The fullback gets into the end zone. Touchdown. That is Reinford with the score. His 2nd of the night. He had a 22-yarder. And then you tack that one on to tie it up should the extra point be good. And that is a big momentum boost for Edmonds Woodway.
You mentioned it a minute ago. You were just looking at a 1st and 20. 3 or 4 plays ago, and now you're 1 PAT away from tying this ball game up.
15-yard score for Reinford. And we are tied 21 apiece. This is another ball game on another random Friday night at Edmonds District Stadium. Edmonds Woodway and the Mountlake Terrace Hawks locking horns. The final 10-12 coming around the corner. You're watching the Sound Live Sports Network.
Are you a whiz in filmmaking? Do you want to become extraordinary in filmmaking? Then come to Shoreline Community College and work with Shoreline Productions, where you will learn to transform your work in teams of working professionals and students, to create enchanting effects such as green screen, text animation, and so much more. So come to Shoreline Community College, where you can mystify and dazzle in filmmaking.
And here we are back again at Edmonds Stadium, 21-21 with 10 minutes and 12 seconds to go in this game. Hawks once again struggling to come up with that ball as it bounces around on the ground, and finally Austin Bates able to jump on it at the 23-yard line. Another squib kick by Edmonds Woodway.
Absolutely planned.
Yeah,
you want to keep it out of the return men from the Hawks. And head coach John Gradwell figures his defense, spot him 10 yards perhaps, is better than letting a big return go long.
Yeah, anytime you can guarantee yourself the ball or having the other team start off at the 23-yard line, you'll take it. And that's exactly what Edmonds Woodway just did. Mountlake Terrace looking to answer now. They've given up 14 straight points and let Edmonds Woodway come back and tie this game up with 10-10 to go. Here comes Ryan Lacoste. He's looking for some space out to the left. He's not going to find much. Might have picked up 3 yards on the play. Swarming defense by the Edmonds Woodway Warriors that time. It's going to be 2nd and 7.
Nick Morales came out of that safety spot and put a hat on somebody. And that's tough when you ask your starting quarterback to play strong safety back there, but it's something that Edmonds Woodway has seen in the past, a combination safety and receiver and quarterback. I'll get to that in a moment.
It's certainly not ideal, but in a game like this, if he's your best player out there, you feel like you're compelled to put him on the field. And here they come once again. Malcolm Johnson looking for some space, barreling up the middle, finds his way to the chains, gets forward for a first down. Hawks with the ball at the 34-yard line.
Cole Akers was in the backfield and looked like he would get to the running back initially, but wasn't able to put a hand on him.
One of the other players helping out on the tackle, Nick Morales again. He's all over the place.
Big first down here. I like the way both teams feel confident that they're going to win this ball game. You just sense on both sides of these sidelines, both teams feel like they're going to win.
Absolutely. Malcolm Johnson taking the handoff, and Malcolm Johnson going down quickly. Nowhere to run that time.
Michael Swires on the stop for no gain. Looked like a tackle for loss initially, and Swires was right there to take the big load down.
Yeah, you do not take Malcolm Johnson down easily, and for Swires to get in there and make that kind of a play, it's not for the faint of heart. You're gonna feel that one, and that's exactly what he did. He stepped up and made the big tackle. So we've got 2nd down and 10 coming up. 8:21 to go here in the fourth quarter. 21-21, Hawks and Warriors. Hopkins under center. Johnson in the backfield. Sweeping right, it's Riley Moore to the right. Riley finding a little bit of space and is finally brought down at the 39. That was a double handoff as the ball was initially given to Ryan Lacoste, who started running to his left, or his right rather, then gave it back to Riley Morin, who trying to find a little space off of right tackle. Didn't find much, did pick up 5 yards, and a big, crucial 3rd and 5 coming up for Mountlake Terrace with 7:46 showing on that clock.
I think the playbooks are wide open. We have seen a little bit of everything so far in this ball game. It's been inside, outside, pass in, pass out, pass short, pass long, counters, trickery.
That's good old-fashioned wing tee football right there, like you used to see back in the pre-World War II days. Here comes Ryan Lacoste out to the right, looking for some room. He's still running, cuts back. He's got some open space to the 30. The 20 is finally brought down at around the 14-yard line. That is a run of 47 yards for Ryan Lacoste, who is having himself one heck of a night.
Huge pickup. Lowered his shoulder initially, thinking that he was going to take the pop about 2 yards in. After he turned the corner, it never came. And he was able to then right himself, cut back to the inside, and after that, daylight.
When he has made himself quite the complete back this year. He's got speed, he's got power, cuts well. Not a running back you want to see if you're a cornerback out there on an island. And once he gets by 1 or 2 guys, look out. He also has the speed to go the distance and almost did that play. Here we go again. Malcolm Johnson this time. Going to try to find some room up the middle. Not much, as he might have picked up 2. That clock continuing to tick. It's now showing 6:38 to go in the ballgame.
Tyler Reinford, Allie Gay on the stop for Edmonds Woodway, but 6:31 to go. You either get the stop or don't right now, because you're going to need to. You're going to need to keep that time on the clock, as much of it as you possibly can, in the next possession if you're Edmonds Woodway.
Boy, never a dull moment if you're a Warrior fan. After that 35-14 win over Jackson, the last 3 weeks have all been exciting finishes, and we're going to get another one tonight apparently. Lacoste looking for room, cuts it back into the middle, is still pushing his way forward, picks up the first down at the 2-yard line. Hawks looking to take the lead here once again with 6:02 left in the game.
Edmonds Woodway, a possession ago, started on their own 23, went 77 yards in 7 plays before Rhineford was able to pick up 15 yards. And it started this drive on the 23-yard line for Mountlake Terrace.
Yeah, let's take a quick break. So the 2-yard line, you're watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
And here we go, just in time. First down and goal from the 2-yard line. The Hawks and the Warriors all tied up 21-21, 6 minutes to go in the game. Hopkins takes the snap, hands off to Lacoste. Touchdown, Terrace! Ryan Lacoste with his 3rd touchdown of the night. The Hawks answering fairly quickly, and they go back in the lead with 5:56 to go in this ballgame.
Seesaw battle back and forth. Terrace 80 yards on the first possession. Take the lead, 7-0. And then it's just exchange blows the remainder of the way here. We'll see if E-Dub has an answer.
I have a feeling in some way, shape, or form they will. That's just how this game's going right now. Melkor on for the extra point. Munnis puts it down. The kick is up. And the kick is good. So we will take a quick break. But when we come back, a game that's very similar to last week. E-Dub falling behind late in the 4th quarter. They marched right down to tie it then. Can they do the same thing now? You are watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
Hey sports fans, do you want to know when and where your favorite teams in the West Coast Conference are playing? Who won the game last night and what the current standings are? Well, it's easy to find out on westcoathletics.com. The information is entered by athletic directors and coaches so you know it's accurate and up to date, making westcoathletics.com the place to view official scores, schedules, standings, and photos for all the schools and all the sports in the West Coast Conference. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook and check out westcoathletics.com, the official website of the West Coast Conference.
Touchdown lead for the Terrace Hawks with 5:56 to go. 28-21 your score. And that 5:56 is left in the ballgame. Long boot goes through the end line, out of bounds. 20-yard. The 20-yard line is where the ball will be spotted. And we'll see what Nick Morales can do and what head coach John Gradwell has for an answer. It has been a ball game.
Yeah, it has been quite the ball game, and starting to sound like a broken record, but this is certainly an Edmonds Woodway team that has shown that they can move the ball on Mountlake Terrace. They've had trouble finishing a couple of times, but they've certainly moved it. And with 5:56 to go in this ball game, it's crucial that they do something here. And not a lot of time left. Obviously, if you needed to punt in the near future, you could get the ball back, but you never know the way Mountlake Terrace moves the ball.
2 in the backfield now for Morales, who goes under center. They'll play action as he rolls out to his right-hand side and had no receivers down there. That one close to being another one of those iffy plays where intentional grounding might be thought about. Hohengarten was in the mix along with Josh Gradwall on that on the near sideline here, but question.
Yeah, Morales did what quarterbacks are taught to do. Number one, roll out of the pocket, which he did, and number two, make sure you get the ball past the line of scrimmage.
And get rid of it.
And that's exactly what he did, and so saved his team a loss of yards.
2nd down and 10. Usual suspects for Warriors, and they'll hand the ball off. Out the outside goes Chance Justice around the 25, up near the first down marker at the 30-yard line. We'll see where they spot it. They'll be just short at the 29-yard line. So another 3rd down for Warriors.
So 3rd and 2 coming up. I'm gonna have Coach Neely take over here for a moment. If you get stopped at the line of scrimmage on this play, are we in 4-down territory yet?
I think you punt the ball. 5 minutes to go. Put some trust, put some confidence into your defense that they're going to get you the ball back. I guess playing it straight.
They're hoping it's a moot point, but we'll see what happens here.
3rd down and 2. Ball on the 28. They hand the ball off. It may not be a moot point.
That was very close.
I think he'll get the 1st down, but it was close.
Yeah, that 30-yard line is the 1st down marker, and I think you're at the 30 and a quarter yard line right now, so you just got
put the whole nose of the football over the top, so he actually had a little bit of insurance there. But a 1st down for the Warriors with 5:28 to go. Ball on the 31 is where the scoreboard has it placed. I'm not going to argue with them. And Morales now has Gradwall and Nash as receivers. Venema and Justice in the backfield. They'll hand it off to Justice. No, Morales with a play action. Gets some great blocking up front. And now is trying to find Hohengarten. He is covered well and has to run out of bounds and picks up 5 yards in doing so.
Give credit to a couple of players on that play. Both Morales, who did a nice job to make for a positive play, and also Daniel Johnson, who came sprinting from almost the other side of the field to cut Morales' angle off and to make sure that he wasn't going to go any further up that field.
Justin Kinnear, the big offensive lineman, a fantastic job at picking up some pressure there in the pocket and allowing Morales the chance to get outside. And now 2nd down and 8 yards to go. The ball on the 33-yard line. Edmonds Woodway needs a score. Here's the play action fake. Now it's a little screen. They go underneath once again to Venema. He has some room to run, picks up the 1st down and then some. At near midfield, Nick Venema gets his number called on the screen a number of times tonight and makes good on each and every one of them.
And I was just going to say, if I'm Edmonds Woodway, I've got to keep looking at that screenplay. It has not been stopped yet tonight. Don't know exactly how many yards they're averaging per play. Would love to see that stat. I bet it might be in double digits right now for yardage.
Clock continues to move at 4 minutes and 36 seconds. With the ball on the 48-yard line, Edmonds Woodway with the leather, but they trail by a touchdown. 2 in the backfield, the spin, the play action once again, looking downfield, almost picked off. Ooh. Nash on a little hitch and go, and Morales thought he was coming back for the football. That could have been dangerous.
Yeah, Morales threw that ball a little bit short, and that might have been a good thing. Riley Morin had a much better angle on that ball than Nash did.
I think Nash was going long.
I think he was too, and I don't think Morales knew he was going long. So the fact that he shorted it probably might have saved the Warriors from a turnover there.
2nd down and 10. Clock is stopped at 4:19. And it looks like Terrace is going to bring some bodies on this one. Play action. There's the screen again. The Venema has only one blocker, but is able to get past. Here's a 1st down again. Nick Venema, another Warrior 1st down. And they've all come on the screenplay, each and every one of them.
Surprise, surprise, right? You knew it was coming eventually, and as soon as they ran it, another 11 yards and another 1st down.
And you could tell when the ball was about to be snapped, the antsiness in the defense of Terrace looked like they were bringing bodies. A perfect time to call the screen. 1st down and 10 with the ball inside Terrace territory at the 40. Right in front of us here at the broadcast booth. Here is Chance Justice. Gets 2 yards and a huge pop.
Huge pop by Malcolm Johnson, who's usually leveling other players with the ball in his own hand when he's playing fullback. This time he steps up from the linebacker position, and he made sure that that ball wasn't going any further than that 39-yard line.
Boy, Justice ricocheted right off. That was a bounce back. They're lucky they spotted him a yard.
What do you think, screen pass? This is
I
about
think at this point in time, way to play. 2nd down and 9. With 3 minutes to play in the ball game. Handoff goes to Justice. Gets tripped up after 2-yard pickup, and now here's your 3rd down and the question mark.
Justice had some space. Give Tanner Munnis a lot of credit there. He made sure that to grab onto Justice's leg, and there weren't a lot of Hawks right behind him there. Justice might have been able to pick up a 1st down had number 2 not stepped up and made the big play.
Justice not running well off the field right there, being replaced by Tyler Reinford. And takes up shop right behind head coach John Gradwall. 3rd down and 7 with the ball on the 37. Here's Morales now, back to pass. Little swing out goes once again. This time to Nash, spins to the outside. 30, has room to the 20, 15, 10, all the way in. Touchdown, Warriors! Nash has the move and has the speed and linked them both together for the score. And we are tied, not yet, but 27-28, awaiting the Fatty PAT.
The Fatty PAT becomes huge right now with 2:22 to go. Normally you don't pay that close of attention to an extra point kick, but if somehow Edmonds Woodway doesn't put this one through the uprights, things get very interesting. They're going to be interesting either way.
Sure are. Here comes everyone trying to block it. It will go through the uprights. And here we are once again, tied at 28 with 2:22 to go. We'll take a final break here on the Sound Live Sports Network. Holy smoke, do we got another one.
People assume quality car insurance has to cost more. People assume too much. The truth is, drivers who switched to Allstate last year saved money and got better protection. So get the facts, because you know what they say about people who assume. They pay more for car insurance than you and me.
The Allstate Insurance Agency of Jeff Smar is a proud sponsor of Wesco Athletics. Located in Northwest Bothell, Jeff's office services many areas including Linwood, Edmonds, Bothell, and Mill Creek. Contact Jeff for a quote at 425-949-7103 or email jeffsmar@allstate.com. And we are back again at 2:22 to go here at Edmonds Stadium. The Edmonds Woodway Warriors 28, the Mountlake Terrace Hawks 28. You are watching the Sound Live Sports Network presented by Shoreline Community College. And we've got ourselves a ball game, 142 ticks left on the clock. And it's all knotted up at 28, Keith. And here we go, kickoff right away here to the 19-yard line. That's Riley Morin. Morin this time not finding the going to be as easy as the last kickoff he returned. Only gets 9 yards on the return to the 28-yard line, and that's where the Hawks will take over.
And if I may, Steve, just to outline how the half has gone. A pick on the first play of the second half by Edmonds Woodway sets up a touchdown, and it is touchdown for Mountlake Terrace, touchdown for Edmonds Woodway. Mountlake Terrace punts, Edmonds Woodway with a touchdown, Mountlake Terrace touchdown, and then an Edmonds Woodway touchdown. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touchdowns in 7 drives.
If that pattern continues, I think Mountlake Terrace will be very happy. They've got the ball, and there's only 2:14 left, so we'll see how that plays out here. Hopkins takes the ball under center, hands it off to Lacoste. Lacoste looking for some room out to the right, and Lacoste not finding much of anything. Managed to get the ball to the 30-yard line where he's tackled, and that will bring up a 2nd and 8 with 2 minutes even showing on the clock right now.
Plenty of time. And again, this is something that teams practice for a lot. The 2-minute offense is in place, and you've got to march the length of the field. How are you going to do it?
You practice for it, but it's a matter of executing it. This is a Mountlake Terrace team that definitely likes to run more than pass. Malcolm Johnson looking for room up the middle, and the Edmonds Woodway Warriors doing a nice job of staying at home on that play. made sure that Johnson didn't get any more than 2 yards. And with 1:27 to go here in the fourth quarter, I won't say in the game because it's tied, in the fourth quarter, the Hawks looking at a huge 3rd and 6 coming up right now. Here we go. Neither team using a timeout here as the clock continues to tick. 1:10 showing right now. Hopkins rolling out to his right, looking downfield. He's got some time. He's going to throw it deep. He's got a man wide open, catching the ball in the 45, and he's still running. He's off to the races. Touchdown, Ryan Lacoste. Hawks take the lead with 55 seconds to go in the game. A 68-yard touchdown pass. Wow, you have got to be kidding me. I've been watching Mountlake Terrace Hawks football for 3 decades now. I don't know that I've seen a finish like this, and it's not finished. It's not over.
It's not finished. 55 seconds, and a week ago, we saw Edmonds Woodway get the ball back with 50 seconds and go the length to tie it.
Unbelievable. Melcher coming in to kick the extra point. And yeah, this is an Edmonds Woodway team that can strike quickly. Ball is spotted, the kick is down, it is up, and it is good. 35-28. 6 straight touchdowns, Keith, is that what we just decided?
Right, well,
for both
actually
teams
had a
combined?
punt in the middle, so in the half there have been 6 touchdowns.
6 touchdowns in this half, and we've still got 55 seconds to go.
Touchdown, touchdown, punt, touchdown, 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 touchdown.
And Edmonds Woodway is not going to go down easy as we just got our stats brought into us here. What a game here at Edmonds District Stadium tonight. Ryan Lacoste, his first catch of the night for 68 yards, goes along nicely with his 13 carries for 169 yards rushing, scoring 4 touchdowns tonight. The senior letting it be known that he came to play and he's ready for potentially a victory over these Warriors. He's 55 seconds away from possibly doing it.
And when was the last time that happened?
It's been a few years for over Edmonds Woodway.
Yeah.
I want to say it was like 2009, 2010. I think the Hawks snuck one off on them, but it doesn't happen very often between these two, I'll be honest. And it might be happening tonight, but again, the way this Edmonds Woodway team has shown that they're resilient and they don't just roll over, this game's not over.
Quick strike and an absolute breakdown in coverage from the Edmonds Woodway secondary that time, as Lacoste comes out of the backfield untouched and unaccounted for, and then scrambles 68 yards for the score. And 2 back now for Edmonds Woodway. That boot will go and be caught right at the end line. That is Abdulli Jada, and he will get up near the 30-yard line, just short. And 48 ticks on the clock remain here in regulation play. Edmonds Woodway had to go 80 yards in order to kick a game-tying field goal a week ago to send it to overtime. Field goal won't be good enough in this one. You need the touchdown. Ball placed on the 27-yard line, 1st down and 10. Twins on the far side. And here is Nick Morales from quarterback. They play action fake and the rollout now to the left. Has a man open, caught and out of bounds. Excellent execution to start the drive for Edmonds Woodway. Only took 5 seconds off the clock. 41 remain with a 1st and 10.
5 seconds. You saved both of your timeouts still. Gradwell did a nice job of getting out of bounds and moved the chains. Couldn't have called that one up much better.
And we'll see if E-Dub has any magic left after a week ago, although you didn't even win it last week in an overtime loss to the Mavericks. Winners tonight, 35-28. Here's the play action once again, rolling out. And out to the sideline once again. It will not be caught. The intended receiver was Gradwell once again. Tried to keep those 2 feet in, and in doing so, loses the handle on the football. 34 seconds now.
Yeah, fortunately, you didn't lose a lot of time. The play was there. It was the right call. Just weren't able to execute it. But Gradwell just seems to do a nice job of getting open 10, 12 yards down the field. A few more of those, and this could be a very interesting finish.
Very heady receiver. Knows where he has to get as far as placement on the field. And now at Mountlake Terrace timeout.
And quite frankly, Mountlake Terrace has timeouts to burn. They're not worried about the clock. If
Clock
they don't
was
like,
already stopped.
Yeah, if they don't like the alignment that they have out there, or if they see something that's a little bit of a mismatch or maybe not what they were expecting to see, why not call the timeout? Give your guys a break as well. I mean, at this point in the game, a lot of players that go both ways, play offensively and defensively. Some of these guys are getting a little bit worn out and tired. Give your guys a breather. Use one of those timeouts. You can't take them with you.
The winner of this ball game vaults themselves into second place in the Wesco 3A division. The loser is in trouble as far as making it into the playoffs. With 4 games remaining after tonight, Linwood Royals already having fallen once in league. The only undefeated in league play so far is the Meadowdale Mavericks. And of course you've got the Glacier Peak Grizzlies to contend with, having lost tonight. So it gets a little interesting on week 5. Back to pass is Morales. Out to Gradwall, catches it, and will have to get out of bounds, and does so expertly to stop the clock at 27. But brings up 3rd down and 2. So now they say they spotted it right at the 49. It is very close to a 1st down. And it really doesn't matter at this point in time. You're going to use every down you're given. I think they'll mark it short. No, they did. First down.
Give them a 1st down finally, yeah.
But 27 seconds left on the clock. You're going to have to start taking some chances.
Yeah, without a doubt. It does help a little bit in case you did throw an incompletion or two. But, yeah, like you mentioned, you're still got to have very much an uphill battle, 51 yards away with only 27 seconds.
Morales goes under center, and now a jump on the far side. Thomas Maltovic jumps.
A little movement on your left side there, and that's not what you wanted with 27 seconds to go. Pushing that ball back, like you mentioned, the 1st down marker probably really not coming into play now with a 1st down with 27 seconds to go, but certainly yardage is something that's going to be tough to come by.
Absolute premium at this point in time. And you've got 56 yards to go now with 27 seconds to do it in. Awful tough. Into the shotgun formation. Morales will roll out to his left-hand side. Has plenty of room. Now will huck it along the sideline and out of bounds. They say he was out, and it will be no catch.
That was a close play there. Nice job by Gradwall. He tried to scrape that foot down right before he went out, and he thought he was in. The referee said otherwise, and it's going to be a 2nd and 15.
And now you got to look at the secondary and how they're aligning in the Mountlake Terrace defense and how many defenders they're going to take into the back and make sure that nothing gets behind them. And right now you've got just the standard 2 safeties back there. And they are looking for some help from the Mountlake Terrace crowd now with 20 seconds to go. 35-28, Edmonds Woodway with the ball, but they're down by a touchdown. Morales, shotgun, rolls out, now has to step up into the pocket. He looks downfield, nobody down there now. It looked like he had a man open for a moment in Chance Justice, who kind of gave up on the play.
Yeah, I thought he was going to cut to the right a little bit before. He started to kind of jog towards the right corner of the end zone. Not in the end zone, but in that direction. And I think at one point or another, he just realized that Morales wasn't looking in his direction. Give Daniel Johnson and Ryan Lacoste a lot of credit. They were both shadowing him, but for a brief moment there, I thought he was going to break open.
2 plays to go, really, on 3rd down and 11 to go. Ball's placed on the 48-yard line, but there are 11 seconds to go on the clock, and Edmonds Woodway really fighting an uphill battle right now. The offensive embers are but aglow.
Whew, what a game tonight, Keith. I was not expecting this when we got up here. Certainly, like you mentioned earlier, this is uncommon. We're not used to seeing this at Mountlake Terrace. This has been a rivalry of sorts, but at the same time, it's a rivalry more dominated by one team over the other. And these Mountlake Terrace Hawks fans, I think they've just come to expect that when you show up for a game against Edmonds Woodway, more often than not, you're going to walk away with a defeat. And right now, they're 11 seconds away of pulling off what most people would call an upset tonight.
Not only that, but it matters. This is a game that traditionally has been just that, a crosstown rivalry, but with Edmonds Woodway in the 4A division, Mountlake Terrace in the 3A. you really didn't have a whole lot of a hope as far as making it or breaking your season. You didn't have to worry about it too much. Now, boy, if you're Edmonds Woodway, this may make or break your season at the end of the day.
And we touched upon this very quickly at the beginning of the broadcast, and I'll hold that thought so you can call this play, but finishing in the top 3 of your division this year is the only way to make it to the playoffs, and this is going to be a huge blow for the Warriors if they lose this game.
3rd down and 11 with 11 seconds on the clock after the timeout. Morales back in the shotgun formation, has everybody back, and a fumble on the ball. I think they'll say forward momentum. It'll be an incomplete pass as the ball came forward out of the hands of Morales, who had 3 streaking Warriors down the center of the field.
Boy, and give Billy Parkins and Austin Bates a lot of credit. Both of them back there putting pressure on Morales and getting to him so that he threw that ball incomplete. And as I was mentioning a minute ago, the top 3 teams will get to play for the top 2 teams automatically qualify for the playoffs. The team that finishes in 3rd will get a chance to play a crossover game against the 3A North Division 3rd place team. That team, the winner of that game, takes the final playoff spot. So I think a lot of us who think that we know a thing or two about football, but we don't always, that's why they play the game on the field, a lot of us were under the assumption that Glacier Peak, Meadowdale, and Edmonds Woodway were the cream of the crop in the South Division this year, and that they were more than likely all 3 going to advance to that 1st, 2nd, and 3rd spot and have a chance to make the playoffs. Well, all of a sudden with this Edmonds Woodway loss tonight, if you're Mountlake Terrace or you're Linwood, suddenly you've got new hope, and you're starting to think maybe we got a shot here this year at getting that 3rd spot or maybe even higher based on that game tonight. I mean, what's Glacier Peak got left now?
That's right. Edmonds Woodway feels like they're wounded and backed into a corner. They are going to come out with some energy when they face the Grizzlies. But right now we've got to get this one done. 5 seconds to go, 4th down and 11. The down and distance irrelevant. You've got to get to the end zone. Back to pass Morales. They go underneath. Here's a little hitch back, and now into the center of the field, trying to get rid of the football, but can't do it. The ball game is over. And the Hawks, jubilation along the sideline of Mountlake Terrace. The W.
Celebrate, Hawks, celebrate. The Mountlake Terrace Hawks are going wild out on the field right now. Again, I certainly considered an upset. Mountlake Terrace coming into this game with a better record than Edmonds Woodway. However, the thinking was that Edmonds Woodway had a tougher schedule up until this point. I went on record earlier this week as saying I thought Edmonds Woodway was about 17 points better than Mountlake Terrace. I was wrong. Mountlake Terrace, congratulations. You are now 3-1 on the season with Shorecrest coming up next week. Final score, Mountlake Terrace 35, Edmonds Woodway 28. So the players go through their handshakes. Keith, I think we'll take a quick break and come back. I'll try to contain my excitement, but
okay.
This is good stuff. You are watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
Welcome to Northwest Best, brought to you by Smart Service Subaru. Here's your host, Mike Halsey.
We're back at the Red Onion in Mountlake Terrace, and I'm with the owner, Sean, and the food here is absolutely terrific. The burgers are made with 100% beef, made to order with fresh ingredients. And you're involved in a lot of community projects.
Yes, Mike, we are. With the help of our loyal customers, we're able to give back to our community. Such as we take 100 kids shopping with cops and join us for our terrific Tuesday fundraisers. Join us
at Red Onion Burger.
And thank you for watching.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
And we are back again. Your final score tonight from Edmonds District Stadium. The Mountlake Terrace Hawks 35, the Edmonds Woodway Warriors 28. Ryan Lacoste, you are not going to graduate high school without beating the Edmonds Woodway Warriors once.
No,
you did it your senior year. Congratulations.
Thank you.
4 touchdowns tonight. Have you ever had a 4-touchdown game in your life? I'm sure at the Little League level.
Yeah,
you did, right?
I did on JV once, but it's been a while.
It feels better when it's under the lights, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, 8 o'clock game, under the lights, everyone's here. Feels
So
good.
you had some big plays tonight, too. These weren't short runs. You busted off a few long ones.
Yep.
I got to ask you about the 1 touchdown. You kind of extended the ball, and it came out of your hands there. Did you think you were in the end zone?
No, I thought it was a fumble. That's why I ran and tried to grab it, but luckily it was a touchdown. I'm not going to do it again. I'm just going to hold it tight, get in the end zone. I was scared.
Well, you had 169 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns on the ground, but I think it's your 4th touchdown that people are going to talk about for a very long time.
Yeah.
Tie game 28-28, a little over a minute left. Take us through the play. Josh rolls out to his right, looks down the field and finds you, and take it from there.
Yeah, well, when they had the ball, I gave up a touchdown. I missed a tackle, and they scored, so I knew I had to do something to get us the W. And so we ran out. I saw the safety go deep, so I just stopped. And then Justin, he said in the huddle, he was like, "You're going to be open." And so I just stopped, and he threw it to me, and then I just took off running as fast as I could.
Did you know you had the end zone at that point? At what point in that run did you think, I think I've got everybody?
Line.
Did you not know until that point?
No, I was just running for my life.
Unbelievable. So, yeah, again, what an exciting finish. And this is an Edmonds Woodway team, and you play defense as well.
Yeah.
I mean, was it getting to the point that every time you guys would score, they seemed to have an answer for you? Did you just at some point think, these guys just don't want to go away?
Yeah, they were tough. Gradwell's a great coach, but we worked hard. Halftime, we were all hyped. We were all yelling, clapping at halftime, so I had a good feeling about this game.
So 4 touchdowns. We'll let you get back and celebrate. We're going to get a picture of you first here with that shirt. And like I said, I knew at some point you were going to get one of these this year.
Thank you.
So Ryan Lacoste is our Red Onions Burgers player of the game. 4 touchdowns, a victory tonight.
Thank you.
Go celebrate it, man.
Thanks.
All right, take care. Ryan Lacoste, 169 yards rushing, 68 receiving. Hawks, 3-1 on the season with Shorecrest coming up. They're feeling pretty good about things. And once again, Red Onion Burgers sponsoring our post-game show and our player of the game. And we thank Sean Richards and the entire crew one more time for all of the support they've given us all season long and for now showing our games live each and every Friday night at Red Onion Burgers. So, Keith Neely, if you want to throw those things back on or not.
I'm going to wipe them off first.
Those players tend to sweat a little bit. It's weird how that works. Anyway, what a game tonight. Whether you are an Edmonds Woodway Warrior fan or a Hawk, or if you're just a football fan in general, you got an entertaining game tonight.
What a fabulous ball game. When you're scoring on drives more often than you're punting or it's turned over on downs, you've got a great ball game. And Edmonds Woodway, has had some tough ones. The fourth quarters have gone into overtime once, and the other two have been late drives that have cost them ball games, and sometimes that's a hard pill to swallow, especially when you're getting into the meat and potatoes of a season.
Well, and not only that, but you play a 8-game schedule, 9 with the crossover, so it's not as though you, in a baseball game where there's 162 games, you lose 3 heartbreakers, you can bounce back pretty quickly, and it's not a huge percentage of your schedule.
You're probably going to win 3 heartbreakers.
Exactly.
High school football, an entirely different beast. And remember, these are kids that have worked all their lives to get to this stage right now. And you see Ryan Lacoste and the smile on his face and what it meant to him to be in this the entertainer on a big stage under the lights on Friday night and getting a win against a rival that means everything to that young man. It's something that he will never forget the rest of his life. Same is true on the losing end. You work your way with your class as an Edmonds Woodway class that's used to winning football games. This one's going to sting a little bit, and you're going to remember that the rest of your life. So stuff is monumental sometimes in the microcosm of high school football.
Yep.
And this is exactly had to play out tonight, and it showed itself, showed the colors, and it happened to be Hawks.
And now you know the Edmonds Woodway program very well. You know John Gradwell very well. What's the mentality like going into next week? What can we expect to see from them when you're broadcasting that game against Linwood?
Well, you're a wounded Badger now, backed into a corner. You've got to come out and you've got to put and string together 3 and 4 wins, and you've got to do it against both Linwood and the teams that are ahead of you that you can control, and that would be the Linwood Royals and the Glacier Peak Grizzlies. You got to take care of business against them, win the games that you're expected to win against Shorecrest and Shorewood, but basically run out the last 4 games of the season and hope for some help.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens, and that's the beauty of this whole thing. We think we know from week to week, and we truly don't until the game is played. Like I said earlier, I think we all were expecting a different outcome here tonight, but Mountlake Terrace had other ideas. So once again, our final score tonight.
Fabulous ball game.
Mountlake Terrace 35, and this makes me smile, sorry. Mountlake Terrace 35, Edmonds Woodway 28, a great ball game. We're going to have more for you next week right here, same time, same location, Edmonds Stadium on the Sound Alive Sports Network. Have a good night.
Good night.